What's up, everybody? Hope
Hey,
everyone's having
hey,
a
what's going
great.
on?
What?
I said, hey, what's going on? But
Oh, hope
yep,
hope everyone's having a great day. I know I'm having a fantastic week. Ever since I can't imagine what made my week so great.
I think it was early Wednesday morning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something around like 2 a.m.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much.
yeah, something like that. What's up, Mash? What's up, Risk It? Hope y'all are having a great week. Jim, how was your week this week?
It was fantastic, man. Got work's going good, and probably going to be getting even better. And super hopeful for no tax on overtime because
I bet you are.
oh boy, that would be
Damn.
nice.
I wish I'm sitting here trying to figure out what colors I want my background to look like. Well, I think we're gonna go with that for now. A little red, white, and blue. Um, really makes me wish I still worked overtime because
Yeah, yeah, bro. It's about to get good, man. We're in for a
yeah,
good 4 years, I think,
we
and if
we
not even
definitely hope
longer.
so. I mean, obviously, there's still a lot that has to happen. There's still there's still a couple races. In fact, that's what we're gonna start with tonight. Um, let me move some stuff around here.
Which do you want?
Shockingly, 3 screens is not enough. So we are going to hop over here to Fox News. Who I'll tell. I'll tell y'all what. Um, the one that I think we're actually going to hop over to is NBC because shockingly, I think theirs is better. Like now, one thing I do hate is that there's no dark mode.
Google's is pretty good, and it has dark mode.
Ooh,
I've got it. I've got
let's
it
share.
shared on my screen here.
See, that's 270 to win. Okay, let's look
Yeah,
at this real quick.
they haven't counted
Can
that.
you zoom in?
Sure can.
Thanks, man. So what's interesting is NBC is called Nevada.
Yes.
NBC has called Nevada for Donald Trump.
Yep.
Bringing him to 301, and of course, leaving the only state outstanding, Arizona. But the what's up, Big Rob? How you doing?
Big Rob.
But the thing that I like about NBC, and let me go back to that real quick. Is this the button? Nope. God, I just hate that it's not dark mode. Is not only so. Let's see, Nevada. One of the big things coming out, or big questions coming out of Nevada, is their Senate race, which hasn't been called yet. But what I like about this is you see right down here they actually use, I don't know if it's some form of AI or whatever, or just kind of the math that they use to decide elections, but they have an estimated remaining of how many votes are left to tally, which is why this hasn't been called
Right.
because he's only down 18,000 votes, and they
Yep.
estimate there's about 50,000 votes left to tally. And if we look at
See,
the county,
that's interesting because Google has Trump currently at
so
720,000.
this is the Senate
There's
race.
oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
So which means people went to vote simply to vote for Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a huge part of why people voted, obviously.
Right.
Breezy says, "What happened last night? Was I tripping, or did you have a stream scheduled?" I did have a stream scheduled. So I had said, I think 2 weeks ago that the next two state ups were going to be Friday nights, and then I was going to bring it back to Thursday night, and that would have been this week. But I got home and I set everything up, and then I was like, I'm going to go take a little quick nap. And next thing I knew, it was almost 8 o'clock and just a little too late. So I canceled it, not because you called me gay, but because I needed to go to bed so I could wake up early today and go back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Not for overtime pay either. That's the only thing that sucks about salary.
So that's for
but look at this. So 50,000 votes left.
This is for the Senate race, though.
Yeah, yeah. This is for the Senate race. This is they've already called the Senate for the Republicans. The Republicans
Can you show Trump's? I want to see if it's the same as what I'm.
Yeah, it's not. Oh, you mean like from yours or
for Nevada's counties?
Yeah,
because Reno area. Yeah.
So actually, Carson City went for Trump as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much Reno as well. Yeah. Yep.
So it's actually quite interesting that the Senate did not go the same county wise. Up here, Washoe went or is going for her. But what's interesting, at least in my opinion, is we've got 9.3 in for that one, 88.4, 88.4, 93.2, 87. There's a lot of votes left to come out of these Republican counties and not a lot out of the Democrat counties. So I still think I think there's a decent chance.
Which of course there is.
Yeah.
By the way.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a decent chance that Brown wins this. Brown, if you recall, is the is disfigured too harsh.
So he's a challenger, huh?
Yeah. So he is the soldier. I think he's. I don't think he's a Marine. I think he's a soldier who was practically burned alive. Like he was the guy that he spoke at the DNC at the RNC, and yeah, this guy.
Oh yeah,
he burned all over his face.
Oh yeah, sure thing. Yep.
But I'll tell you, look, I mean that alone shows that. Ooh, what does that tweet say? I did add many votes to the town. Okay, yeah. So they're talking about mail-in ballots. Both in Arizona and Nevada, they still have till Saturday, I believe, to count the ballots that they received through Tuesday, I believe. Army?
Yeah, Army in the war of Afghanistan. That's where he sustained
30% of his body. Oh my God. For a second, I thought I saw something that said he was a warrant officer. I was like, oh, so no one knows what he did.
He was a military officer, though.
Yeah. What's up, Broke Sarge? How you doing, buddy?
I see.
But let's see. I wanted to look at not only Nevada, but we've got Arizona as well. Still to play. Now, I think Fox News has already called Pennsylvania from McCormick, which puts them at 53 seats. There's 2 more seats up. Arizona and Nevada, and like I said, Nevada is still really close. Arizona, I was under the impression that in both of those states you had to get 50% plus 1. It's actually not true. Only in Georgia and Louisiana do you have to get 50% plus 1. Here, though, we're still at 700.
Yeah, because that'll trigger runoff for us. Yeah.
754,000 votes still left to count. And Kerry is down by 35,000 votes. And what I think is interesting about this is Maricopa, who is always the one that's like really annoying and really slow, she's down in it, and they're at 77.5. But so many of these other counties are at below 90. I mean, look at this. Cochise, less than 50% counted. And it's like, how? I mean, we're 3 days from the election. Polls closed in Arizona at, I think, 11 p.m. So we're almost 72 hours. I think we're 70 hours away. 60. Actually, we're 69 hours away from when polls close in Arizona, and we still don't know. Like, that just seems pathetic.
Yeah, I agree.
And to answer Mash's question, So there are still house races
Yes.
up.
I wanted to kind of pull that up if you don't mind.
Absolutely. But what's interesting is Fox News has already called the House for, so they like not specific races, but they have said that it is very unlikely that the House does not go red.
Right.
If we pull this up, we can see.
If you pull mine, I got a list to the ones that are projected right here.
Yeah. So
All of these. And what's
they're
fascinating to me
currently,
is California, 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 California,
yeah.
California,
Mhm.
California.
So if
That's
we,
crazy.
let's see.
And there's a couple of. So they're projecting 3 of them to go blue. 1, 3.
So the Republicans only need 6 seats, and I think they're going
Yeah,
to get
we got
6 out of California
we
by
got
themselves.
10 right here.
Yeah, and
Potentially.
there's still one there in Iowa that hasn't been called.
Yep, that's right here.
Let's see. Donald Trump lost California by 1.8 million votes.
Yeah, so
And
I kind
actually,
of wanted to
there's still an estimated 5.5 million votes left to count.
touch on
So,
that. Yeah, they're at 62%. Look how many counties are currently red.
yeah. So that's kind of the
And,
red wall of California.
and in comparison,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So this is 2020, this is
yeah,
2020.
this is 2020. This is
There
how the
was
counties looked. And this is how it looks now.
There was a picture that I think showed that really well. Let's see. Nope. There we go. Actually, no, it's right here. Let's look at this. So this is California in 2020 and then 2024. And I mean, look, Fresno, San Bernardino, I feel like you hear a lot about it being a really like blue area. And I mean, you see it's massive. Riverside, Io, is that how you say it? I don't know. But Trump not only really filled in a lot of these places, but I think what one of the other things you see here is I think you see where a bunch of these people are leaving. You got a lot of blue people leaving California, moving to places like Texas. That's why they thought they might flip Texas this year. I think as long as people in California or people in Texas keep doing stuff right, I think they'll keep it red. But those red people got to start having some babies, otherwise they're not going to say the majority. But I'll tell you, it's really funny. Let's see, Wednesday and Thursday, you had these stories coming out of these Ivy League schools about how they were offering like safe spaces and oh, you'll like this, Jim. Harvard and University of Pennsylvania gave students the day off and offered crayons to their students.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Are they trying to groom a bunch of Marine Corps officers or?
Well, and then they also offered them Legos.
Oh, even better.
Like, come on, man.
Those are extra crunchy.
I'll take some Legos. I'll be sad to get some free Legos. It's like I remember this was terrible.
You don't say.
Right. When I was I think I was a junior in college. There was actually a shooting on our campus. A professor's ex-girlfriend showed up and offed him and then offed herself.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone got an email basically saying, hey, if you feel like you need to talk to someone and need to miss class, that's okay. Just let your professor know. And I might have taken advantage of that.
Well, you had to deal. So
my professor definitely got an email from me saying, I'm just having like nightmares about being in a room when that happens.
yeah, I don't think we really need to elaborate on it. Probably smart.
What do you think about this recount shit?
Well, I think we did in fact make it too big to rig. So although they might
So
try
you're just sending stuff to anyone, huh?
do what?
Did you just say that you took advantage of a safe space?
Absolutely.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God. What is wrong with you?
Absolutely, I did.
Pathetic.
Everybody, welcome Big Rob.
Are you wearing the hat because we're wearing hats?
Yes.
Okay.
And because I just woke up, so my hair is
it's like just all.
So it's fresh out of the ocean.
Yep. Pretty much.
It's an Aquaman.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty much. I was trying to avoid talking politics, and then you guys just pull me back in.
Why avoid that?
Well, I think this is funny. Mash says people are tired of Dim's only policy is Orange Man bad.
It's not their only policy.
Yeah, I think that's just evident. Like it is insane how
X-Wing.
What's up, buddy? It is insane how the only thing that half of these people have campaigned on for 8 years now. 10 years since he started running is that he's a fascist, he's a bad person. You had Gavin Newsom like 2 days ago say we're ready to work with Donald Trump and his government and do what needs to be done for as long as it's protects the people of California. And today comes out and says we're hiring a bunch of attorneys. We're going to take Trump to court and we're going to save the people of California from him. Which, in my experience, liberal attorneys can't really see past their own farts. So I wouldn't really. They'll just jack.
They have their head up their asses. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Well, you're kind of getting mixed messages because I've been seeing all day too. People like CNN pundits and Charlemagne the God. They're like totally flipped. They're like, it's because people have been calling them these names and whatever. And like, you were just doing that yesterday.
Yep.
And now everybody's kind of flipped.
Charlemagne, that's the dude on.
That's the Breakfast Club
right?
thing.
Yeah. The guy that thought he was bigger than Joe Rogan.
Well,
as big. He's like, yeah, we're pretty big. We're
you
big
mean
too.
the guy who
please
calls himself a god?
Yeah.
I'll push back a little bit because that's not the only platform that the liberals run on. Because their number one fallback and probably their only thing of substance to them is their obsession with the ability to kill a child.
Yeah. It's the
most demonic thing I have ever fucking like.
Let's talk about that for a second. So abortion was on the ballot in 12 states, I believe, and the constitutional right to abort a child failed in, I believe, 10 of them. So I think it passed in one state. And then, but so Oklahoma and Florida both had constitutional amendments added to basically require it within, I think, basically the first trimester. And then, which I've always thought anything past like 8 weeks, like I don't think it should be illegal at all, but let's be, let's meet in the middle as bipartisan, whatever. I don't understand how you can go 7 weeks without
noticing.
There we go. I like it. Thank you. Without noticing,
you need to talk to some women, man. That it happens.
Also, if
it happens more often than you would think. People
they're overweight, and their cycle's probably screwed up too. So a lot of things with a lot of people like to think like the period kind of gives it away, but birth control messes up a lot of women's cycles. So that's not even a dead giveaway either. So I agree with Rob that it is. It's not always caught immediately, and it could be 8 weeks before they maybe even notice, especially if they're overweight, which in this country is not a far fetch.
Straight into screw fat people. Is that what we're doing?
Hope not.
Okay.
Well, they got screwed. So,
what is that?
That looked like hot cider.
Yeah, I was gonna say
hard cider.
Nice. Hard cider
tastes like Christmas. It's so fucking good.
I love it. I've been drinking it too.
Yeah, Are you a eggnog guy or a non-eggnog guy?
I'm not an eggnog guy. I can't do it, dude.
What if you put rum in it?
Well, so that's the thing is like, I always tried it when I was a kid, and my parents were like, "You're gonna love it. There's no alcohol. It's fine. It's fine." And it just tastes like curdled ass. And then, and then you become an adult, and they're like, "Well, now there's brandy in it, so you're really gonna like it." And I'm like, "No, now it just tastes like ass, and it gets me drunk."
Yeah, I've never really been a big fan of eggnog, but I can tolerate it with some alcohol.
My wife loves it. I can't do it.
The look of it just reminds me too much of
what curdled milk. Yeah. What he needs to do is he needs to have someone like teach him how to actually use Streamlabs correctly.
No, that's not the problem. There was something going on with my little Wi-Fi extender, and it was cycling. And so my upload speed would drop so low that it would kick the stream off, and then YouTube would kick the stream back on again. So I ran 150 feet of fucking Cat 5 today outside my house to get all the way back to my office and hardwired. Yeah. So I'm screaming now.
I woke up. Yeah, I've got to upgrade my Wi-Fi again. I woke up and saw about 42 notifications on your server, and it was all X-Wing has started streaming. X-Wing has started streaming. X-Wing. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, some people probably left the Discord, but that's fine.
Oh man.
Yeah. You know what a lovely place is. If you'll pull up my screen here.
Is this the good old state of Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Not a single
they've done this
damn county.
Yeah, they've done that, I think, for like the last 9 elections.
Look who else did.
Yep.
West Virginia. Heck yeah.
I don't think there's many states that are even close.
Yeah. So do we want to circle back to the abortion thing or move forward?
Well, so what I think is really interesting about it.
Oh, please, let's stay on that hot topic.
Yeah. What I think is really interesting about it is that in the 2 states that actually passed their amendments or their bills, it was the 2 states, as I quote the person that talked about it on cable news. It was the 2 states where their governors actually embraced it. They actually went and talked about it. They held press conferences about it. And DeSantis went out and actually talked about it with the community, and they voted for it. I think what needs to happen is if Republicans really want to pass these bills and they want to pass these amendments, they need to embrace it. They need to stop being squeamish and scared. And I remember sitting in the House Judiciary Committee here in South Carolina, watching the testimony for our abortion bill in I think like 2017. And
did you have your shirt on?
I did. Yeah.
Odd question, but okay.
And watching what these people were saying it made me sick. I almost had to leave the room. Like it was just absolutely disgusting hearing what sonograms and things show happen. And I think if people would actually step up and man up and embrace it and talk about it in the level that it deserves to be talked about, I think you'd see a lot of change.
Yeah.
And start calling people on their bullshit. Well, what if your wife gets or what if incest or any of that stuff? And it's like, okay, here's the stats. Less than 2%.
Right.
Well, usually that argument falls apart when you ask them, okay, granted, all of those bad things, we'll give you that. Aside from those, would you ban everything else? And they say no. Well, then it's not about those specific hot button issues. The only way this is going to ever change, like through the legal system, you're gonna have two sides butting heads for the rest of time. This is a culture thing. You have to change the culture in it. Yeah. Because I mean, think back 1950s or whatever. If you talk about this issue, it was like more taboo. Like, oh my god, you wouldn't dare. Now it's just like it's like the hookup culture. You know, it's like it's no big deal. So you have to change the culture, and you're not going to do it through the legal system. You're just going to cause turmoil.
Yeah, not that it matters, but in my opinion, it just to me it shouldn't be used as a contraceptive. That's my bottom line. Like, at a certain point, and I'm not a doctor, I don't know what point that technically needs to be, but at a certain point, I think even Plan B should be reconsidered by women because that cannot be good for you. More than likely, it's not. And, you got to live with the consequences of being a dirty little hoe. So.
Bill Burr had like a really good skit on this. I don't know if you ever heard it, but made sense.
Yeah. The one that was,
I believe you should have the right to choose. It's also, I believe you're killing a baby. So that's
I really like his. She didn't fucking say it like that.
Oh yeah.
What?
So it's about how.
It's when you say no, when women say no, like no, stop it. Yeah. When they're in the mood, you're like, no, stop it. But when it's read in court transcripts, like no, stop it. You're like,
she didn't fucking say it like that.
I see. Yeah. We all know there's a difference between no and stop.
So the really interesting thing is, and this kind of comes from like the church side of everything, is I don't know if anyone knows, they so church leaders all over America the other day, they actually held a meeting because they're trying to decide if the rapture happened, because they had these 15 million people that just disappeared.
Oh gosh.
I'm still waiting for a clear. We got to wait for all the numbers to come in, and then I want an explanation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you will,
until then, it's just a fun meme. It's just
if you will, please.
This, I've seen this.
It is wild when you think about it, though. That so big question mark. When we've heard that there are record numbers of new voters this election cycle, and it's like record numbers of new voters,
right?
Yeah.
Math ain't math in here, Vato.
Yeah, I love how, and like was stated, they're not all the votes aren't in yet, so this could creep closer to 70, which I'm pretty sure it is right now.
Let's see. According to Fox, we are at 74 million for him, 70 million for her. So he's actually now ahead of his number in 2020. I think he was 73, right?
Yeah.
And Biden was 81. So
he was
now
74. He was 74.
74. Okay, so now we're about 11 million short. So yeah, I mean, like you say, and the NBC thing I was looking at had about another 6 million waiting in California, and so I think these numbers are going to get a lot smaller to a number that I actually think the cheating was. I don't think the cheating was 20 million. I think the cheating was more likely about 2 million spread across about 10 different states and counties.
Right. But
is this what? video, X-Wing?
None of it matters. You know why?
Yeah, because he fucking won.
Because he fucking won. Did you already watch this?
Is that
Yes,
Leia
I've seen
behind you?
this, but this is hilarious.
Oh,
My
I've
girl
seen that.
just lost a day ago.
Wasn't that here
Like,
in Georgia?
damn.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that was here in Georgia.
X-Wing, do you have a Leia behind you?
Do I have a Leia behind me? I have a Padme.
Probably.
No, I meant your dog. Isn't your dog's name Leia?
Obi.
Come here,
Obi.
Obi.
Fuck.
Come
Sorry.
here, Obi. Come here.
I knew it was a Star Wars character name.
Well, I mean, we know it's not Ben.
He's a big
Mm.
husky. He likes to shrink up and make himself look small. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that husky tail.
Yeah. He's a
What
big
a
boy. He's got
What a
two different
boy.
colored eyes. He's a good
Oh,
boy.
that's gorgeous.
What
Yeah.
is he mixed
That's
with?
awesome.
The Chow Chow Husky.
Okay.
So he's got
Cool.
that.
He's got the weird colors.
He's got a cashmere coat. It's
Yeah.
real soft, but he looks like a husky.
Does he shed
Mhm.
like crazy?
He sheds like a fucking maniac. But
Is
he's
he talkative?
smart as a whip. Not so much anymore.
Really?
In his sleep. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of videos here I want to watch real quick.
Okay.
One is from I believe the EU president, where she tells
What they
us
discussed, but we touched upon yesterday.
that
It's the whole topic of
Europe's going to
LNG.
start buying.
We still get a lot of
electricity.
LNG via Russia, from Russia. And why not replace it by American LNG, which is cheaper for us and brings down our energy prices, but is something where we can get into a discussion, also what our trade deficit is concerned.
So the EU is going to start buying energy from the United States.
So good and bad.
So
Definitely good and bad things here. I don't want to piss them off like we pissed Japan off, which basically kicked off what we dealt with in the Pacific. But I think there's a way. I certainly think if there's anyone that can negotiate it, it'd be Trump to say, hey, they're going to start buying energy from us, but we're going to give you breaks here, here, and here and bring you some more prosperity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I think is so good about this is
Real quick though, how did that? Just a history lesson. Elaborate a little bit on the Japanese thing.
We cut their fucking oil and steel, and the Japs were pissed, and so they bombed the shit out of us.
you're talking about. Well, we cut everyone's oil and
It's like
steel.
the thing
It
that
was-
happened a
It
while
was
back.
part of the. It was part of the naval conferences that everyone had after World War One. It limited everyone's navy to a certain displacement, and
The Japanese were none
Yeah.
too happy.
they were because they were a seafaring group, and they got really pissed off.
I see.
But what I
And-
think's cool about this is that means you've got world leaders preparing for the energy growth of the United States.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I still
Drill
think,
baby drill.
well, drill baby drill, but how about nuclear baby nuclear? One of
Please,
the best things I
please.
heard this entire election cycle was Trump talking about nuclear power.
Yeah.
Like, it's about fucking time.
Yeah.
No, I think if you were able to somehow use Elon and his engineering core, which is obviously like heads and shoulders above the rest, to figure out how to really make nuclear safe as humanly possible, because that shit is scary. But I mean, when you think about it, the majority of the disasters that we've seen are from a lot older technology.
Yep.
And we've still got plenty of nuclear plants that are up and running and doing completely fine. Our fucking military, basically all of our seafaring shit is powered off of nuclear.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, the worst nuclear disaster we've had this century is Fukushima. That's because there was a fucking like 8.3 earthquake that decimated Japan.
Let's just not put it in California.
Just
don't put it
stick
in
it in.
Yeah.
You stick these things in areas that can actually, not blow up from.
I mean, how
earthquakes.
much vast desert is in Texas?
I'm going to tell you right now,
Arizona?
Nevada is a perfect spot for that
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
They
Exactly.
should put it,
Stage
in
fresh air.
Pennsylvania. That's what they should do.
shit. There
Yeah.
you go. Or
Well,
New York, right in the middle of New York.
Right in the middle.
My-
Yeah.
My favorite thing is
there's a little island in Pennsylvania. I think they should put it on.
Little three,
See how it
about
works
3
out.
miles long, something like that.
I'm just waiting on Elon to create the arc
I thought
reactor.
3 Mile Island was in New York.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Isn't it near the falls?
Felicity, what's going on, girl?
I'm pretty sure it was Pennsylvania.
Let's see. 3 Mile Island.
Oh, my bad.
Near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Okay, shit.
Oh shit.
I always thought it was in New York.
Yeah, that was like one of our local scares. But
yeah, so that was 79 for us, and then about 5 years later, it was Chernobyl. It was mid 80s, wasn't it?
And that was Chernobyl was just basically a missed safety inspection, wasn't it? Somebody just didn't call it. Yeah, human error.
Yep.
Luckily, we've got so much shit that's automated nowadays. I would much rather have them cut something on a fluke and lose power for 30 minutes than fucking blow up Pennsylvania.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also, AI might be able to.
No, I'm not into that.
I hear you. I hear you.
Not for nuclear.
It could help.
Not for things that wipe out
AI in my house and it does the dishes and gives me a hand job. Like, great, okay, fine, but like, let's not do nuclear.
Those robots cost like $20,000 now. I think you can buy them if you want.
For now,
do the dishes.
But I even seen with nuclear too, with some of the waste, which is a lot of people's pushback to it too. What do you do with these poison rocks? I also seen where
what we've been doing forever. What do you think Nevada is?
You're right. It's a burial ground.
100%.
But no, I believe they were even there's somebody working on taking one of the byproducts and using it for a battery, which would be even better than a lithium battery.
That's going to sell to the 3-letter agencies.
Speaking about where we put them, France used to. Hopefully they turn back on. But France used to get about 60% of their power from nuclear plants. And one of them they placed right here. Right so that the majority of any fallout would fall on Belgium.
Wow. They're like, the wind, she goes north. So where do we put it? Right over Belgium. Fuck them, man.
I always thought that was pretty petty and pretty funny.
That's very French.
What's up, Crimson?
Yeah, Yucca Mountain is, we've been doing that forever. They're like, what do you do with the waste? Like, same thing we've been doing. How do you think we got the hills have eyes? Just bury that shit in Nevada somewhere.
Jeez.
Here's about a couple mutant babies.
Just disturbing ass movies.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I love them.
Oh, did you see the one? What was that one called? It's kind of the same thing. It's like a Western, but there are these crazy, like almost alien dudes that live in the mountains. It's super fucking gory. It's called like Bone Axe or something.
Is
the name of that movie?
No.
Western movie Bone.
I ain't never.
Bone Tomahawk.
I was just about to say Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, Bone Tomahawk.
Kurt Russell, Matthew Fox.
Yeah,
like
have you seen that?
Yeah,
oh,
that was good.
Dude, it's crazy, bro.
Jeez.
Need to put it on the flicks. I need to see that one.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. It's
Mash new,
up, dude. It's messed up.
Wow. There you go. So this is one of the things that I thought was really interesting coming out of the tail end of the election was we already knew that the left didn't like Joe Rogan because he asks questions.
Yeah.
And I've never been like a giant fan of Rogan. Like I totally understand why there are people that absolutely love him, and there are people that listen to every single podcast of his. It's a little long for me.
That'd be me.
Oh, yeah,
but my work allows it though.
I don't think I love Joe Rogan. I love the Joe Rogan podcast and the people that he brings on, and like the information that's shared there.
Yeah.
Well, you're an inquisitive person. And I like to fancy myself as one too. I want to know about all this fascinating shit.
Yeah.
And even when it's his comic buddies and stuff, they get into topics that are just so interesting to me.
But what I think is really funny is, we know, what was it? About a year and a half ago, actually even longer, 4 years ago, when they first attacked him and tried to get Spotify to cancel
the ivermectin thing.
Yeah. So they tried to do that. And I feel like that was the moment he kind of realized, well, fuck him.
That was his aha moment. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
And so
all the hot button items today, aren't you?
This was a MSNBC thing, I believe, earlier today.
Particularly the media ecosystem it's not a good one, it's a negative one, it's a radicalization funnel. But what they have done in their online media ecosystem is build a radicalization engine, literally the way militant groups do around the world, that takes people from relatively low
and real quick,
level annoyance.
Having the fact that he's actually just reading this off a fucking teleprompter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure.
Like, it's not even his own damn thoughts.
Right.
With the world. Why are eggs so expensive? Why is my kid learning this new thing in American history in school that I didn't learn? And then moves them through YouTube videos, through podcasts, moves them from that annoyance all the way slowly to a full-blown fascist politics.
Just coping
it's an
so hard that they realize they're irrelevant.
multi-billion-dollar infrastructure, and there is nothing like it on the pro-democracy side.
The pro-democracy side.
You know what a way to phrase that one, huh?
You mean the side that installed a candidate and didn't even let your party choose?
Exactly. The
Sounds
side
super democracy.
The side that told us that they were pro-choice and then didn't give us a choice.
Well, didn't give them a choice. Them.
Exactly. Yeah. But this is and what's so funny is there's so many people that were saying basically yesterday and the day before, okay, what we need to do now is get our own Joe Rogan. You had him. He was called Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan I would argue Howard Stern before that. But.
Yeah, but Joe Rogan was a Bernie supporter. He was or is pro-choice. He believed in the science, like all that shit. He was, and then they tried to ruin him. And
so was Elon, lifelong Democrat.
Exactly. Yeah, Tulsi, RFK. All these people, and it's just like maybe at some point, maybe y'all are the bad guys.
No, they're never going to realize it. Are you kidding me?
Like,
yeah.
Are we the bad?
The come to Jesus moment about, hey, maybe I'm wrong is never going to come for them.
It's self-preservation at this point. It's both parties, in my opinion, have shifted. Like they're not what they were 15 years ago.
Absolutely not.
It's a different ball game now.
Republicans went more center, and Democrats went fucking past the outfield into the stands to the parking lot and then across the street.
Well, because their entire platform is based upon lies and deception and gaslighting, and just the sad thing is that so many people just gobble that shit up.
They love it.
It's mind blowing.
There's a lot of fear mongering. They're really good at fear mongering. And I mean, both sides do it, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
right.
One's, the crazy stuff that I saw, and this is obviously a hot button topic, so I'm not going to say the word, but self-deletion.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw the tweets about, there was, 450 registered tweets about self-deletion. And it's like, this is the kind of culture that you're creating where people think they're literally going to, one says she's going to wake up and she's going to be a slave. The other ones are like, I literally can't do this. I'm going to off myself. It's insane.
Yeah.
And that's
your lies are fueling a society of,
it's distorting a perfectly good mind.
Self-deletion. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, one of those stewers, however you call it, of this mindset is this what would be a word for our friend Harry here?
Pussy?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, that'll work. This is what I love. So you got him, you've got Kamala started doing it. The crazy white lady. I think she's a senator. Looks a lot like the
gotta do better than that.
I know, right? Looks a lot like the lady that they say Trump assaulted.
Horseface?
Yes.
Jean Carroll is the lady.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But
you said there's a senator that looks like her?
Yeah, she was she campaigned for Kamala.
I thought you were going to say there's a senator.
You're talking about
like
Liz
Stormy
Cheney?
Daniels. I'm like, really?
No, not Liz Cheney. But
I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
So I'll figure out who it is I'm talking about. The point I'm making is you've got all these people who sat there and they were like, oh, she gave such a great speech. It's time to get this country together. And, let's move on from this anger that we've all had. Let's join together and try to make America better than we have been. And one could say great again. And then they just start their same shit over again. He starts saying with the resistance continues.
Here's the good news about the 2024 presidential election. And there's not much. We're all very sad.
There's a lot of great news.
Right now. Sorry. We're all very disappointed. We're all very shocked. But there's one piece of good news that I can think about right now. And it's that the resistance continues. The resistance against Donald Trump and their awful Republican policy continues. The Republican.
Did he just misgender Donald Trump?
Dare you?
I think he said there. Not his.
Wow. Oh my God.
Have this
somebody get Lucasfilm on the phone. Get this kid fired.
That you, me, and everybody else are just gonna lay down. We've given up. We're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, it's because he has a fucking mandate, you whore.
Wrong. We're still here. We're still fighting. We mourn for a week. We get our thoughts together. We recalibrate, and we get back out there. Like if Republicans think that women, people of color, members of the LGBTQ plus community.
Again, the majority
of numbers for fucking Trump.
The majority of people of color voted for Trump.
Enough so that
sit
CNN
down and let them do their
Latinos
thing.
racist.
No, sorry, not happening. And here's the thing: I know for a fact that if Donald Trump tries to hurt the American people, make our lives harder, we will give him hell. We will make his presidency impossible if he tries to pass policy and legislation that takes rights away from people. I know you want to be part of that. I want to be part of that.
Wait, pause that.
Do it together.
That takes rights away from people. Okay.
Again, and again, this is a lie that they keep talking, saying that Trump is going to take away rights. What rights?
I keep hearing that, and I keep hearing the one that he's going to put people in internment camps or something like that. Yeah. You heard that? Like, I don't know where the other stuff from.
They even tried to perpetuate the notion that he was going to take our guns. You remember that?
Oh,
they actually tried to say that. Just
who thought in their right mind? This is about as dumb as a campaign strategy as they're just weird. They're weird people. Like
Joy. Let's run on Joy.
That had no shot at working.
I gotta go cook dinner.
Have fun, Matt.
I just wanted to pop in and say, what's up, boys? Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of the stream. Have a good one. I will be in the chat.
See you, buddy.
See you, man. Absolutely. So that's what that I'm glad you said that. So about 8 years ago now, my university sold everyone's information, all the students' information, to the DNC. So I now get RNC emails and DNC emails. And Wednesday, I got an email asking for money to fund the fight for Kamala Harris. And I'm sitting there thinking, the fight's over. The election is over. How dare you ask me for money? Like, you shouldn't be allowed to ask for money after you've conceded an election.
Well, I think they overspent too. So they're in debt.
Oh my God. They spent over $1 billion. It is the most expensive campaign. Trump spent less than $400 million. And they spent over $1 billion and lost.
Right.
Ooh.
Oh, so I will tell you. So after Obama won in 2008, a friend of mine, or a friend of my mother's got a text message that said, can I say this? Screw it. That said, all white people report to the fields tomorrow at 6 a.m. And honestly, it was pretty fucking funny. Wow. That's like the postcards that people were sending out to addresses that had Kamala signs on that said, "Thank you so much for supporting Kamala Harris. We just want to let you know." Yeah, we just want to let you know that a family of 4 from Nicaragua will be staying with you now.
Ultimate troll.
Right. Okay. How is it that I cannot just find something that shows all the pictures of the U.S. Senate? Like, I feel like I should be able to go to U.S. Senate pictures
of all the sitting senators.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm just dumb. Shut up, Jim. Or here we go. Who are the female senators?
Oh, you're still trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure this out.
I see.
Let's see.
It's just on Wikipedia.
Breezy says, dude, it's Nancy Pelosi.
It's not Nancy because Nancy's not a senator.
Nancy Pelosi.
You talking about Elizabeth Warren?
Nope.
Klobuchar?
No, she's Native American, man. Come on.
Tina Smith?
Klobuchar.
Deb Fisher? No.
Nope.
Senator?
Okay. How about
give us more context. What did she
say? It's not helping. She screams and she does this. It doesn't help because they all do that.
You sure she's a senator?
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm thinking she might not be. Maybe she's the governor.
What about Felicity? Is that it?
Claire McCaskill. Nope. She does look. So think Claire McCaskill. Make her head a little bit longer. It's not AOC. Trust me, I would know that. Let's see. I should just fucking scroll through Twitter because she had a rant about the fight continues, and I imagine it's all over Twitter. Let's see.
No idea.
I know this is really bugging me now. I'll tell you one of the other reasons that she lost is because she showed up to an area that got decimated by a hurricane and said, "Hey, I think $750 will be enough for you."
Well, then is she a representative of North Carolina?
Oh no, I was talking about. Here we go. This bitch.
Dude, it better not be some like. Doesn't even. Dude, that's the wife of freaking Tim Walz.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Yeah, she's really fucking annoying.
She's freaking nuts. She's got the crazy eyes.
She does look a little like that lady that
you gotta look at there's another video of her floating around where she's screaming into the mic. You gotta find that other one. She is freaking. Hold on, let's see if I can find it.
I love that they always clap too. What is it with them clapping like train seals?
It's right.
Like the opposite of a Gator fan.
Looks like a Gator fan to me.
Also, the thing that kind of bugs me about this is clearly some sort of rally. And like
put in the private chat.
There are no elections going on. Why are y'all holding a rally?
I don't know.
Like that bugs me.
They need to spend money.
Yeah.
Raise money, spend money.
Oh, this one. Oh
yeah, this is the one where she looks freaking psychotic.
Yeah, she kind of looks a little like Gwendolyn Christie in this one.
Bye-bye, Donald Trump.
That ain't like spoiled milk.
She looks crazy.
We are turning the page.
This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens when a woman regularly pegs her husband.
4 years of her and Kamala Harris with this cackling in the. Good grief!
Oh shit! Though I'm about to delete those little clips that I have on my channel because hopefully we don't have to hear her stupid drunk ass wine mom hyena.
Which is why, that's why she didn't give a speech, because she was drunk off her ass. There's no way she was not. She was stone cold sober.
Yeah, I was in the same boat as her. All right, Rob.
Speaking of this lady,
he's a stupid son of a bitch.
Oh my God. You got to interview these wives and husbands before you make these choices. I don't know.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Absolutely. Yeah.
I heard
100%. Dude, if it's true that she picked him because she was just exhausted.
She was sleep deprived. Yeah.
Dude.
So I heard an interesting theory. So Obama, they generally pick somebody who's not going to outshine them, right?
This is
so
Dave
Obama
Smith's theory.
picked
Joe Biden,
and they wheeled him out there, likely because this is my own theory, likely because they could pull the strings on his puppet, and I also think his wife wanted the house, or she wanted to be in the White House.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Because she clearly doesn't care for his mental health or his state. But so then she picked Kamala, which obviously couldn't outshine him.
Yeah, this is Dave Smith. He said this on Rogan. Yeah, and then they pick Walsh, who's like the even dumber and moronic than Biden and Kamala. He called it the idiocracy of America and politics.
Yep. Oh, jeez. That's really kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant observation. And yeah, that was Dave Smith. You're right.
So Rogan had Theo Von on today?
Yes. It was very good.
Joe. Okay, so I saw this little bit of a clip from it. I wanted to play it as well. I guess we're just going to play clips tonight.
Kind of the way to do it, to be honest.
Yeah. So I found this very interesting. So he's basically talking about election night.
Yeah.
And then I was texting
and talking about how he was getting different numbers. And I mean, we all had it. When I was doing it with Jay and X-Wing, and we all, they were on Google, I was on Fox, I had NBC pulled up, and everything had different numbers.
Yep.
Yeah, Jim, that was the one we weren't invited
and
to.
JD Vance.
Yeah, I know.
Different.
It's off the grid.
Yeah.
Elon created an app, and he knew who won 4 hours before the results.
And what's interesting about that is he actually did tweet
game set
over.
Match. No, he said game set match.
Yeah. And then a couple times, or replied to a couple things like it's over. Now, something that I thought was really funny about this is one of the replies is the app was actually just Polymarket. Which I think actually turned out to be 100% correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
Also, I'm pretty sure our before everything started, how we highlighted the states that we thought Trump was going to win. I'm pretty sure we were correct.
So I don't think I was there for that one with y'all. The day before Monday,
the only one you got wrong was you were thinking Virginia.
I said Virginia would go red, and I mean Virginia missed by I think 150,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they don't screw it up this term, man, next when JD Vance comes up, man, they're gonna crush it.
I stand behind. As much as I love JD Vance, and I thought he outshined even Trump on
I think he did, yeah.
But I think the greatest curveball that the Republicans can throw at these libtards is to put Tulsi Gabbard at the top of the ticket. That would just be so fucking funny. Because now what are you gonna say?
Agree.
Now what are you gonna say?
Yeah, so
I love
sort
her.
of agree, but what you would have to do is she would need to win the primaries, and
she's a master debater.
She is. She's very good at debating. I don't know if she would be. I think there'd be a lot of people that would go, well, she's only been a Republican for 4.5 years. You know,
I don't even think it's that. I think people, so they brought in Kamala and they paraded around as like the first female, blah, 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 right? She did a shitty job. Everybody knows.
Right.
And so the next one that comes around like, whoa, we tried this experiment before.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think if she
especially in a day and age when we're questioning the night.
I think she's awesome. But I think maybe if she ran on JD Vance's ticket, assuming JD Vance and Trump don't screw it up.
Sure.
And then like when they're done, she's gonna be in her 60s?
12th year, and like 13th or 14th year of high.
Probably still looking good as shit.
People will know exactly who she is and what she's been doing for the last 12 years or 8 years or whatever, 12 years. And then I think people will be comfortable. Like, screw it, she did great. Let's go for it.
So to answer, I think it was Pilgrim.
Very likely.
NBC has called Nevada for Trump. They have not called the Senate races in Nevada or Arizona yet. And that's because there's still a lot of votes left to count. But in the math is done for president because apparently enough. There were a bunch of people that came out to vote for Trump, but not for Carrie Lake, and not
which
for
is weird.
Yeah, I do. Think
I don't know anybody who doesn't fill out the rest of the ballot, but
yeah.
Riskit had a question in the chat. That this one I don't even know too much. Yeah, I remember she was. She's from Hawaii, so she was kind of like gun control, anti-2A, whatever. But I know at some point she kind of changed to an extent. I don't know to what extent. But was there like, do you guys know of like a defining public statement or whatever that
so Tulsi Gabbard on, I think this is a
and what qualifies as anti-Second Amendment? Is it more extensive backgrounds? Because some people claim that, and
I think she was hardcore, like ban assault weapons, like.
So I think this is her. What's it called? I think this is a blog of hers. Growing up in Hawaii, we had a very restrictive law surrounding firearms. We still do. A lot of my friends who grew up in the mainland, learning about firearms safety and how to shoot from a young age, had a very different experience than I did. Aside from a handful of visits to the shooting range with my dad as a teenager, my exposure to firearms was extremely limited. Once I enlisted in the Army because of the terrorist attacks of 9/11, it was in basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. That's right, just 5 miles down the road from me.
Largest relaxing Jackson.
Was she an officer or
No, she was an officer. She was a pilot, right?
No, she was
some
a medic.
sort. Medic. What was she?
Let's see.
Pretty sure she was a medic, or she was at least in a medical unit. At the very least.
Yeah, I want to see what she says.
Keep going with her second.
Let's see. I love this.
Yeah,
despite what many Democrats would like you to believe, the original intent had absolutely nothing to do with hunting or hobby, which is the biggest dumb thing the right ever allowed to become part of the conversation. All throughout about 1999 to 2008, the entire conversation was, it's all about hunting, which allowed California to come in and make those laws about magazines. Very simply, the Second Amendment exists for two reasons, and two reasons only. First, every American has the inalienable God-given right to protect themselves and their loved ones from threats of violence. As crime continues to rise throughout the country and progressive DAs refuse to take dangerous criminals off our streets, firearm sales, especially among first-time owners, have hit record highs. I tell you, this is sounding pretty good. Even with our relentless attacks on our Second Amendment from Democrats in our national media, Americans innately understand that gun ownership, combined with proper training, offers an unmatched level of security. Second, our founders had a profound understanding of human nature and the ease with which power could corrupt. To safeguard the very freedoms they had fought so valiantly to obtain, they realized that the American people would need to be well armed, as this would be the single most effective deterrent against government tyranny. President Biden recently mocked this nation. I think this is a big mistake too, claiming that Americans would need F-15 fighter jets to successfully fend off our government. Again, I don't want to be a jackass here, but
who you gonna get to fly it?
Well, let's say let's say they all say okay. I don't want to be a jackass, especially because the two of y'all served. But 20 years in the Middle East, and no one really gave up. 10 years in Vietnam, and
no, you're absolutely right.
I mean, look, you don't need tanks and F-16s.
We had vast. Not only us, the Russians had vast military superiority, and it still lasted. However,
they've been fighting. Russia's still fighting over there in Syria. The powers that be have been fighting in the Middle East for 20,000 years.
Guerrilla warfare gets crafty.
Mm-hmm. And if you think you're beating those Appalachian men with F-16s, tanks. Tanks are pretty fucking cool.
Now, drones, on the other hand, kind of changed the game.
They did. But again,
that scares the piss out of me.
20 years.
I'm going to have to start getting.
Let's see. It serves as a check on the power of a tyrannical government. With more than 81 million gun owners in America, any path to dictatorship would be met with armed resistance and unimaginable bloodshed. As Hirohito once said, you cannot invade mainland America. There would be a rifle behind every blade of grass.
2 or 3 is more accurate.
Right.
But
let's see.
Yeah, she was medical. Yep.
Man, I thought she was something like if she was a medic, is one thing. She was like a medical administration.
Well, she received she received a combat medal badge.
But doesn't everyone in the unit get one of those?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure about that one. Rob?
No, a what?
Do you have one of those? The combat medic badge?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Is that individual or unit?
Individual.
That is individual.
Yeah, but it could be like it depends on who's writing it and how stingy they are. There's always badge protectors, but
for those who don't know, Big Rob was a medic in the while he was an Army Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to discredit her service. I always just the way she talks, like, I served overseas in combat, and well, okay, fine, go for it.
Well, she abbreviates it because let's be honest, the majority of America doesn't give a shit. So
yeah,
it's sound bites, man. It's all sound bites.
But she was also military police commander in Kuwait, so I don't want to take away from her service, but it's always the.
But officer is a funny one too, because it's you're not, because you were enlisted, and enlisted. I was also enlisted, and those are the people that get their hands dirty, that actually do shit. The officers are usually towards the rear. There's certainly cases where officers are involved and stuff like that, but I would say, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong,
I was on the couch.
You saw combat. Correct me if I'm wrong. Say 8 times out of 10, an officer is not involved
in combat.
Yeah.
It just depends, man. Like an infantry platoon leader, he's with the guys in all of their operations. But an officer who's on a FOB on a base as a medical administrator, you're setting up a hospital and coordinating like
triage,
medical evac and triage. Well, not even triage. She's a 68 Golf, which is operations specialist. So it's like setting up a hospital, coordinating with air assets and stuff like that, I believe.
Right.
But whatever. I mean, she served. Kudos.
So Gabbard expressed approval with the Supreme Court's ruling in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin, which was a pretty damn fucking big case. Last year, I believe, might have been the year before.
The Bruin,
2 years ago, which held that an individual's right to carry a handgun for self-defense outside the home was protected by the Second Amendment. So I think I think it's likely that she is much further right on the Second Amendment than she was, but I doubt it's to the level that I would really like.
Shall not be infringed is a big part for myself.
Yeah, so I kind of want to own a machine gun. So, a legal machine gun. I don't, I'm not going to go cut away. I feel like I want
a Mark 19, please, and thank you.
That's the
belt-fed grenade launcher. Yeah. Thum, 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 thum. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do y'all see so I saw this a while back, but they just started sharing it again. Do y'all see the video of Trump speaking his tweets during the DNC to his campaign room?
No.
So this is, I don't know about you, but I always pictured him as like literally sitting there typing it out, but kind of like.
Oh, I did see that where he was telling the person what to type.
That's the thing I posted. So it's a whole series. Tucker Carlson had his embedded go with Trump during the campaign, and it's 6 episodes. I put the link in there if you guys want to watch it. I figured you would really enjoy it, Jim. It's got a lot of behind the scenes, like the people around him and like from their perspective.
The election war room, basically. Right?
Yeah, it was fascinating to watch.
And the tweet
I'm
thing,
not like a big Trump whatever, but like I was just fascinated by the coverage, and obviously it's edited in a certain way, but that part where they show the tweet thing is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very, I think it's very interesting because I was just kind of assumed that he just typed everything himself, but the video makes it clear that he dictates. And
at least for that instance.
Yeah, sure.
He was being the brains behind it, and they were workshopping it as it was being typed, kind of thing.
You got the video of that?
Let me go back to
see a clip of that. I didn't watch like the whole thing. If there is like a long form.
Yeah, dude, you got to watch that thing, Jim, that I posted. You'll be hooked.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
I remember this
listen to her.
Oh my God. Is she crazy?
Is she crazy?
Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, too many thank you. It's about 20.
Oh,
That must be
time
35.
out. That's your super chat one right there.
Her
saying thank you 1,000 times.
Ever send a super chat again? There's a goal. There's a goal to this. You want people to send super chats.
Thank you. Speaking of, what the hell, chat?
Oh, stop that. Oh wait, no, hang on. Let me redo that. Stop that. I think honestly, there's like 2 or 3 moments that I think stand out from the campaign. Obviously, Butler, Pennsylvania is number 1. I mean, fight is that picture is going to go down in history. If the ship gets righted, because look, let's be honest, there is a chance, because I think there's a chance whenever a new president shows up or whenever someone becomes president, that they become a fucking tyrant. Do I think Trump will? No. Do I think that the House would actually allow it to happen? No. But the thing about him, fucking hell, guys. Jim, you're a dick.
Risk it.
Risk it with 10 memberships. I wish I had something. Oh, here we go. I really. Usually I would have gone with the first couple seconds of like woohoo, woohoo, but I really like this. I think this might be my new one.
It's a whole new world out there.
It's a different world, and
but, I'm on TikTok now.
Congratulations,
and I've done really well.
Congratulations. What emoji should we do for that?
Let's go. Well, actually.
Okay. Well, actually.
And Star Wars Dog with a $2 saying, "I'll start." Well, you didn't start.
I did. He beat me by half.
He did. So we'll go with the old one. Tell you what, Daimyo was definitely right. That stuff needs to be much more like pumped up.
Well,
that is hilarious.
You could change the music behind that.
Yeah, I would definitely will.
Golden. That made me want to take a nap like you last night.
Yeah, it's not great music. Like I remember when I made it, I kind of wanted this like a different feel. And I think 2 or 3 times I listened, I was like, no, we're not doing that. That's way too like that's too joy.
Brisket gifted himself.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious.
That's awesome. Never seen that.
What was
to California within
Here was he says. I think I will jog my memory.
to be the scientist.
How many people are watching?
Can we tell how many, Dan? How many people are watching?
Also, who is this? Do we know?
You gotta watch the episode.
I like her.
She's a person that was sick. He signed the right to try law.
Oh, no
she had cancer. She was, I guess, about to die. Once that law passed, she was able to try something. She got better. They stayed in contact, and he hired her. So
we also
that's
say
that's what that show. Like, there's a bunch of stories like this. It's
do you have?
Oh, why is that not mainstream? Oh my god!
Like, do you want to post the link to it, Ron?
It's just Art of the Surge on Twitter. It's a Tucker Carlson, so it's either on his network or Twitter. Art of the Surge.
I mean, obviously, we know we can't play it here, but yeah. I want to share that because, dude, knowing stuff like that, I think that's one of the things that makes his appointment of what's your name so cool, because this lady has been with him for what, 8 years now?
Yeah, I mean, whenever he did the right to try, and they stayed.
No, I'm talking about his new chief of staff.
Yeah, she's been around for a while.
Yeah,
I think she was part of like even Reagan's. Like she's been around, or Bush. She's been around for a long time. I think they call her like the Ice Maiden or something. She's got a reputation of being pretty.
Yeah. So Susan Wiles,
super loyal to Trump.
Yeah, Susan Wiles, Summerall Wiles, because she's the daughter of one of the best announcers ever.
Nobody cares.
But
well, actually,
she's the longest serving person with Trump right now. So everyone else, obviously, minus his kids, but everyone else in that campaign has not been around nearly as long as she has. And
I just motioned for Kayleigh McEnany to be back as White House press secretary.
I mean, absolutely.
I liked her. I think he needs a fresh team, though.
I understand, but she was a beast at it.
Mm-hmm.
So is Sarah. Huckabee Sanders was pretty good.
But she's governor of Arkansas now.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. But just like her dad.
But also, Kayleigh was easier on the
eye. This is one of the things that I love is Trump's a misogynist, Trump's a racist, Trump's a sexist. Hires the very first
Mash. I would recommend go watch that Art of the Surge, and you will see how contradictory that assumption is. He is the team he has around him. It's a very young team, but it's all a mix. But like,
Brisket, that would be insanity.
So
yeah, right. Alex
Jones is press secretary.
That's not going to happen.
Oh my god, would that be?
Well, I'm kind of retarded.
every single
God,
Meet the Press would begin with, "Oh, I'm kind of retarded."
Here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest with you.
The Turn of the Frogs gay.
Yes.
So one of the things that I thought was very interesting about this. So this is the DNC. This is August, I believe, and you've got Matt Gaetz here.
Gates.
Yeah. Gates. I was going to say Gates, and then
Tulsi's there. It's like their little coordinated team.
But I thought it was interesting that Matt was here because I know Matt's a Trump supporter, but I didn't think he was involved with the campaign. I thought he was just kind of like
pads.
I just thought he was just kind of like, a fan in the house. But he's at the fucking war room. I don't know. Just one of those things that I thought was kind of interesting.
Can I just say too, is like, and I don't even want to use this term because it's been corrupted during this campaign, but the way Trump has assembled the Avengers, and the way the reason why I don't want to say that is because they're cringy ass pro Kamala. Although I think it was sneaky against Kamala because the whole message was down with democracy, which was hilarious. If that was legitimate, that's super funny. But there you go, Clyde. Gifted membership.
Clyde, what is up, man?
Matt Gates is a weird looking dude.
He is honestly like he is.
I just posted in the private chat. I don't know if you've ever seen that when he was on stage at the RNC and he had so much makeup on.
Oh yeah. Oh jeez. Yeah. And I think they were saying like he had just finished like getting Botox or something.
Yeah. It looked crazy.
Yeah. But no, back to my point that I was
getting
to.
Let's say thank you to,
of course,
good old Clyde.
Of course.
I'm gonna go with this one. I need to cut
to make me drink,
I know, right? I need to cut the just Rogan's congratulations.
There you go. Well, just put it at the end of something. But
so I guess this rally they held was in Minnesota. That's why she spoke, and he's, I guess, speaking now or was speaking. I love this. It's the little tag on the bottom. Governor Tim Walz, D, Minnesota, former vice presidential nominee, and that's the most he'll ever get. Again, congratulations.
Indeed.
Did you guys see the funny? Because there's this conspiracy that Biden kind of set her up for failure.
Yeah,
Have you seen the Michael Bay thing?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh my God. Do you have it, Rob?
Yeah. Let me post it here. Dude, so there was that when he called supporters garbage or whatever, it was like all planned, because then he came out with another press interview or whatever, and he sounded like totally fine. And it was all coordinated, and then Joe Biden came out in a red dress. It was all kind of it was all part of the plan. And then somebody made this meme, and it was just hilarious.
Did y'all see
private chat?
Did y'all see Ted Cruz's daughter during his election announcement?
Like,
yeah.
Wow, I'm in the dark with this. I've missed some.
Okay.
So he's talking about like, you were gonna vote for President Trump, and she just like makes a weird face when he said that.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I hope,
it's just the chick over in red,
that Donald Trump will be reelected as president of the United States.
There's one that's got a close up, like a different angle, and she's like,
yeah. I mean, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So this is the thing I was talking
Watch
about.
this, Jim. Watch.
Yes. Bro.
Oh shit! Streams. I bet you the stream's going down for that.
So for that shouldn't have been long enough. For when I went to San Antonio with X-Wing and Daimyo, we were talking about when we were gonna go out later that night, and I shared that meme with everyone. That same video there. I was like, "Don't let this be us while we're out." It's just
absolutely, man.
Also, that Linkin Park song just makes it so great.
this is great. So did I don't know about y'all. So I kind of felt like I was walking around on eggshells this week with people, not necessarily like people at work. Like I didn't feel like I was gonna get fired if I said anything. But I felt like no one wanted to talk about it, except for one guy at work. No one. It didn't become a conversation topic at all, which is new to me. I've never had an election not be a conversation topic.
Right.
And this just really felt like absolutely no one is talking about this.
Like it was taboo.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That was not the case for me.
Yeah.
I think it was just one of those things for people who were on the other side, or it didn't matter. It was just one of those situations you're just like, huh. You know, there's like, you don't, like, how do you, I don't know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, people are happy on one side. The other side is just like, you got clobbered.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, huh. And I think there is some self-reflection, although they won't admit it. But there's some definite realization there that maybe
they would trigger self-reflection.
Yeah.
Does logic apply to these people? I don't know.
That sucks.
Who?
I'll tell you who.
Pardon my ignorance.
Candyman. He played Candyman, which was a horror movie about a guy that had bees come out of his mouth and kill you.
The crazy, he's got like a cool, dark, scratchy voice, a cool dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he was in let's see, Final Destination.
Wasn't
he
in
was
The Rock?
Crow.
Wasn't he in The Rock? He's like one of the soldiers or something.
Was he in The Rock? He's in a lot of horror movies. But one of the things that I always thought was funny about Candyman was it was the first horror movie I ever saw where the black guy survived.
Usually they got enough sense to get the hell out of there.
Felicity
said he was in The Rock.
He was also
Felicity said that he was in The Rock.
Yeah, I think he was one of the soldiers or something.
Yeah, I think he's the one that yells at Ed Harris.
Yeah.
I see.
Of course, I'm sitting here trying to find him in The Rock, and I don't see The Rock listed on his thing. But I remember him being in it.
I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure he's in that. I
think
Google just doesn't have everything on it.
He had this stupid beret that was all jacked up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's in it.
But so these were signs on overpasses in California. Trump is your daddy again. Trump wins. Hoes lost.
That's funny. See, I found this go round that the Trump support wasn't so behind lock and key.
It wasn't taboo.
It felt way more out in the open.
Absolutely.
I mean, you saw a lot more Trump hats, a lot more Trump shirts. Even when I wore my shit, I would constantly, like, we'd go to the grocery store just to get our supplies, and I'd be wearing my Trump Take America Back shirt, and I'd probably have 10, 15 people come up to me, and my wife every time was like, "Oh," but just the enthusiasm was so much higher this time. And maybe they also had that before, but it was just unashamed now. Because I think what this election said and what it said for me is that everyday average Americans finally stood up and said, that's enough. We've had enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think what you saw was, and Trump used the phrase a lot during his first campaign about the silent majority. And what you saw was the final straw for everybody. The silent majority finally stood up. And like you said, you know what? This is enough. We're tired of this shit. You know what? We were okay with y'all doing this. We were okay with y'all doing this. But now you're trying to fuck with our kids. Now you're trying to tell me what I can and can't eat. Now you're trying to tell me what I can put in my fucking gun. We're done with this. You know what?
Yep.
We're going to elect somebody that doesn't care what is in our closet, doesn't care what guns we have, and
we also don't care who's in the closet. So
yeah, just wants to make America better.
Some might even say great again. Yeah, man. It just what a different feel this one had, and I'm just glad they didn't, scrounge up another 10 to 15,000 or 10 to 15 million votes.
But again, we'll see. We will see how many I will be very interested to see what the final number ends up being.
You know what's the cherry on top?
What?
Kamala has to sign off on the election.
I know, right? Yeah, January 6th. Not only does she have to sign off on the electorates, she has to swear in all the new senators, all the new reps, and then she has to sit there behind Donald Trump while he walks down and gets sworn in as president again.
Yeah,
I think it's.
Do you think that because you were just talking about, Jim, is the excitement behind him this time that was more acceptable? I think what I contributed to is like more mainstream people, like normal people, started being okay with it. Like eventually Joe Rogan, but the different podcasters, certain Dana White, and all these people started coming out slowly. Like, yeah, just screw it, and then we're like, oh, maybe it is okay to support them and not be.
I think the RNC,
or you just don't care anymore.
I think the RNC this year, although obviously it was a big showboat thing, and it was also right after the assassination attempt, the first one out of 3. I think
2.
Well,
I don't know if that third one was really legit.
Yeah, it was forted before, but it could have been. Either way, I think the RNC and all the support that was shown out, and I think obviously the interest was much higher this go round too. Just because the country has gone to complete shit in the last 4 years. I mean, anybody who is in the $20 an hour range, or God help them lower, you felt what was going on. I mean,
even beyond that, the people, for a long time in this country, the people that have had luxury have never really felt the break of the bank. It's always been the people that were living paycheck to paycheck. It's always been the people that knew that, oh, okay, this month I can only pay my power bill, or I can only pay my car bill, or something like that. And now you had people who everything they had was affected because let's look at cars. So premium gas, which for the first time I have a car that drives premium gas, and if I had known when I bought the car, which is the dumbest decision anyone can. If you don't know what kind of gas your car takes when you buy the car, you're a fucking idiot. And I can hand to God, I had no idea. I
bought an Audi, so
Well, I bought an Audi because everyone at the firm had Mercs and Teslas, and I was like,
right.
Well,
so
I
you,
need to.
You at least had to pose as if you.
Yeah, exactly. I had to pose as if I was fancy. And I'll tell you, I wish I never bought that thing. I just spent $74 on gas this morning. Filling out. Now it's a 20-gallon tank, which is great. But if I want to come hang out with you for a weekend, I have to fill up twice. Or once, probably depending on how much is in the tank when I leave. But it's so I think that's one of the things that really affected it as well. Is you had people who would probably have voted for Kamala, who, they filled up their gas tank that week and they were like, shit, this fucking sucks.
Potentially.
Yeah.
The cost of groceries had gone through the fucking roof. I mean,
I wish I had that. If either of y'all find
the answer to the cost of groceries and cost of everything going up is just clearly not that your candidate grew up in a middle class family like that.
Oh, Jesus!
That was her fucking answer for it every time that the question was posed.
I'll tell you, I grew up in a middle class family. Fuck off.
Right. But that was her answer to it. There was never any meat and potatoes to any policy, and the fallback was always women's rights. It somehow always circled back to women's rights, and it's just.
I'll tell you what, Risket. I drove a van for 10 years. My family had it since 2003. It was the first one to roll off the line here in America, and we had it for 20 years.
I'll be back.
So, and that thing ran on regular. So I disagree, but it probably depends on the car, because this was a Toyota, and we all know Toyotas are fucking built to last. Rob, what is this? Is this Alex Jones' press secretary?
Yeah, it was from a while ago. You guys were talking about him as the press secretary. Somebody superimposed him. I thought it was pretty funny, but it's a little lengthy. And
what I wish, and some of y'all may have already seen this, but when I think it was Morning Joe, they were talking about groceries, and this is one of the things that pissed me off about the entire election. Is you had so many people, you had so many people surprised the economy was an issue. Like you had these people you had these pundits that would get up there and be like, you know what? I am shocked that people really care that butter is $3. It's like, what do you mean you're shocked? Butter was $1.45 4 years ago. Of course people are pissed off about that. And then the lady next to him was like, butter is $7.
Oh yeah, and, Mika Brzezinski.
I'll tell you, wherever you're buying butter that's $7,
that's what it is. Land O'Lakes butter in New York is $7.50.
Okay, so it's not $7.50 here in South Carolina.
No, I think it's better. Here it's probably like $5, but New York.
I just fucking bought great value. Fucking Walmart's butter.
Holy fuck, that was hot.
Yeah, but that's probably not actual butter.
It says butter.
Yeah, it probably still has seed oils in it though.
Yeah. Camera.
Oh, here we go. Seed oils.
Bro.
Camera, Jim.
I just turned it on.
Yeah, but you're all blurry.
You're blurry
as shit, man.
Oh, what?
Well, that's not gonna fix it.
What?
Put
turn
your hand up.
Oh,
your hand up.
I'm focusing. It looks clear to me, so I don't know.
Okay. Oh well.
Give it a minute.
Okay, so gonna pivot a little.
Pivot.
Jim, did you hear? And Rob, this is not football. Okay. Did you hear about Auburn? Did you hear any news about Auburn?
Roll Tide.
I have not. Yuck.
So Auburn had a basketball game in Houston. They hopped on the team jet. They flew over there. I think they won, and then they went to fly back. Halfway through the flight, they had to go back to Houston because the pilot redirected to Houston because half the team started fighting each other. I'm relatively sure that if a plane has to land because you are rowdy on the plane, I'm pretty sure you end up on the no-fly list.
Interesting.
Imagine if half of Auburn's basketball team can't go to away games because they're on the fucking no-fly list.
Right. Wow. Yeah, they'll have to fork out a little more money for for private. Wow. And basketball goes all over the place too. Not like football. Oof. That's crazy.
So Prop 314. Okay, so I saw this earlier today, and I saw a thing on it saying that it was wrong. Community note. Prop 314.
What is it?
314 was in Arizona. Yeah, no, it did pass. So Prop 314, which referred to the people by the legislature relating to responses to harms at the border. Yada, yada, yada. Let's see. I've
got one even more fascinating after that.
Makes it a crime for persons without lawful status in the United States to submit false information applications for public benefits and employment and enter or remain in the country under certain circumstances. Makes it a crime to sell fentanyl that later causes the death of a person.
Oh.
I think that's a good thing.
Right. Yeah. I think so too. Have you heard of Prop 4 from California?
Is this the crime one?
Yeah, just it's good. I think it's Prop 4.
Never heard of it.
Let me look real quick.
Prop's gonna give me a whole bunch of betting stuff.
It's a California prop.
Type in Proposition 4.
It might be 6.
Oh boy.
Yes, it's Prop 6. Sorry.
Was it the one that recriminalizes something? I forget.
No.
That one just passed the Illinois. Maybe
it was voted no. It prohibits slavery and involuntary.
Oh yes, I did hear about this. So California put up a proposition that basically says slavery is illegal. No counter argument was submitted. So when you open your ballot, it's Prop 6, and then there's for and against. So the for had a big argument about why slavery is bad. There was no counter argument submitted, and it still lost.
Yeah.
So the people of California voted for slavery.
So in what it boils down to, in all fairness, is basically prison labor being free. The prisoners do not get paid. So it's involuntary servitude. Technically slavery. And they in California voted against it. So they were in favor of not paying inmates to do labor.
Which I find interesting that they didn't just try to pass a law up there in Sacramento.
Can we find how that was written on their ballot? Because you know how they give like a little summary, right?
Type in California sample ballot.
Yeah, because I'm curious how that's worded. Because a lot of times they could be very like, especially for people that know read good. It could be tricky to decipher what exactly they fucking mean.
So the summary would have read, amends the California Constitution to remove current provision that allows jails and prisons to impose involuntary servitude to punish crime, i.e. forcing incarcerated persons to work. Fiscal impact, potential increase or decrease in state and local costs, depending on how work for people in state prison and county jail changes. Any effect likely would not exceed the tens of millions of dollars annually. Supporters, Assembly Member Lori Wilson, opponents, none submitted. A yes vote on this measure means involuntary servitude would not be allowed as punishment for crime. State prisons would not be allowed to discipline people in prison who refuse to work. A no vote on this measure means involuntary servitude would continue to be allowed as punishment for crimes. Arguments. Prop 6 ends slavery in California and upholds human rights and dignity for everyone. It replaces carceral involuntary servitude with voluntary work programs, has bipartisan support, and aligns with national efforts. Excuse me, I have a stroke. And aligns with national efforts to reform the 13th Amendment. It will prioritize rehabilitation, lower recidivism, and improve public safety, resulting in taxpayer savings. No con argument was submitted.
And the no's went for 54.4%.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way they spun it, though, is like Republicans voted against outlawing slavery. Like, well,
that's not out of the norm. That is a Republican thing. So, yeah, just the sheer delusion, and these people talk about rights and everything else. Like, don't get me wrong. If somebody did the crime, they pay the price. But I think, we have a lot of privatized prisons and shit like this, and forcing them to do manual labor and shit like that. They're already incarcerated. I don't think that's right to enslave because you could in turn incentivize incarcerating people to enslave them, right? So I view that as a no. Like, we should not do that.
We should not make them work. Is that what you're saying?
Not for free?
Yeah. So they usually have incentive programs, good behavior. They get certain perks. I mean, my son was a Department of Corrections guy. And
clean up the ditch. Yeah.
Yeah. They go and so they used to pick our trash up. It was all prison details.
Yep.
But you do.
Unfortunately, I'm not old enough to run for president.
But I think a big issue, especially with California, is when what's her face withheld some of the prisoners from being released.
Kamala Harris,
like fires or something like that. I remember hearing something about. I don't know too much about it, but I thought that one was interesting, and I never really looked into.
So I wish I don't know why it's not pulling up, but I wanted to look at some of the other states, not ballots, propositions, referendums, but I had it up on Google at work, but for some reason it's not.
I just type in whatever sample ballot. That's
but that's going to take a while.
Not really. Ballots aren't that long.
Be surprised, man.
Well, mine was like 3 or 4 pages, something like that.
I don't even think Georgia had any referendums on the ballot this year.
Had three, all related to property tax.
Yeah. Okay. So that was a big thing across the country too. There was a lot of property tax reform going on around the country.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one of the issues I have with, we are a very large country now, and to believe that
what's up, Rogue
zero taxes across everything is possible. There are going to be taxes, whether it's no federal tax, we use tariffs, and then state taxes increase a little bit to cover the difference. Yes, Jim?
Which would you prefer? Property or income tax to be deleted?
Income.
Property.
My property tax isn't that much.
Property.
Yeah, I agree. Property.
It's because you will never truly own property in this country.
Bang. 100%.
Because the moment that you default in property taxes, they will rip your property away from you.
It takes a while to default on property tax.
True.
How many people have their
stand.
houses foreclosed on and their land? Like that's too common.
Yep.
So
and it
the
doesn't
vast
matter
majority
if you've like paid off, especially like older people. Like if you've paid off the farm, you paid off the ranch.
That's why we have homestead. What are they called?
Exemptions.
Exemptions. Yeah.
What do you?
65 years or older, you got no property tax.
Yeah, but you got to be 65 years older.
Also,
I mean, right now, if I own property, my fucking property. I'm
so
totally
like the moment I pay off my house here, if I go 6 months, 5 months without paying my property tax, you think they're just going to be like, well, just pay us when you can? Or
property tax is an annual thing.
Oh, whatever. If I don't pay it for a year.
I mean,
like I'm
yeah.
paying.
I mean, I've done condemnations. So
at that age, his knees are even worse.
You have to basically not pay your property tax. At least here in South Carolina, again, this is a state-to-state issue. But here in South Carolina, you have to not pay your property tax for like 5 or 6 years before we even think about trying to take your property.
5 years. 5 years is quick. Goes by. I just don't have the money. I'm living off of Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
Rob's statement that you never truly own your property and your land is my biggest thing.
So here's the thing. I've been doing this for about 7 months now. I've seen big property tax bills. I've seen small property tax bills, and all of them pale in comparison to income tax.
I'm not looking at the amount. I don't care about the amount.
Yeah, I'm totally with Rob.
Okay, I just think
I'm just saying, like it's an illusion when you say you own property. When you own a house, you will never own it as long as there's still property. No, you
get that away.
What?
Oh, you want me to pull this down?
Yeah, full screen.
Okay, so fucking say it.
The property tax thing, you will never truly own your property as long as there are property taxes, and you are always at the mercy of the state.
Correct. I love that.
You go 5 years. I mean, who cares about the amount?
I mean,
so if you have property that's worth $5 million and you don't pay the property tax on 5 years, you lose it.
Yeah. Say you have 1,000 acres. That property tax isn't insignificant. You know what I mean?
It depends on what you have it zoned as. My acreage is zoned as my property taxes are $140 a year.
Is it agricultural?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then
most people can get an ag exempt on their property.
If you lived on your land,
and
that was your home,
you couldn't get ag on it. Well, no, you could easily do it. You just subdivide the land.
Yep.
Yeah, you subdivide a tiny ass lot where your house is. It's the same reason. It's the reason why. I mean, Rob, you're from LA. I was about to say San Francisco, but it's the reason why San Francisco's houses are small fronts that go way back, because property tax used to be about the storefront, the front of your house, and it's measured with decided your property tax.
Right.
Now, so the issue that what I was going to say, and Mash is right, they both fucking suck balls. They're terrible. I will say that the biggest fraud regarding taxes perpetuated on the American people is payroll tax and inheritance tax. That is fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Death tax was pretty bad too, but Trump got rid of that.
So real quick, what I was saying earlier is we are never getting to 0% taxes. It's never happened. So if I've got to get to the
American that would go to war for that.
I think you may look at it differently than I would, because I'm much older. If I'm retired, I'm retired. Like, if I wanted to just not do anything and live off my pension, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say pension isn't enough to account for rising tax bills and just cost of living, and within 6 years, like, I just can't afford the property. I say my house is paid off.
100%. No, I do. I 100%. I totally get what you're saying. Like, and again, you are probably right. I do not own a house. My property tax for the land that my brother and my sister
might soon though
I might soon. Fuck, man. The rates are going down. They're already dropping the rates again.
Yeah.
So
the markets went up, the rates went down.
Anyone that's bought a house within the last 3 years, get ready, because you may want to refinance soon.
Oh yeah, fix that interest rate.
Yeah. Pay the extra $1,000 at closing.
You're
to
fucked
buy
with the
down your
value,
interest
but
rate even further.
Yep.
Absolutely. Might be $1,500. Depends on who your lender ends up being. That is not legal advice, by the way.
Don't you have a disclaimer for that?
Yeah, I actually don't.
You should do one of those quick like a legal advice blurb, but it's like
I have one for my channel.
Yeah, I know. I made him one. Yeah,
oh, good, perfect.
I said it kind of quickly, and then I sped it up like 1.5 times.
Hell yeah,
it's actually pretty good. I put everything under like the laws of Botswana, the
Republic of Djibouti,
the Commonwealth of Botswana, and the jurisdiction of Djibouti.
It's fantastic. He did a wonderful job. I play it almost every live stream, but you despise college football for an American reason. But
so what I was trying to say was, we'll never get to a point where we have no taxes. And one of the issues that I have with removing property tax, I say issues. There are goods that come out of some taxes. And one of the goods that came out of property taxes, at least here in South Carolina, was that your property tax funded your schools. It helped fund the schools in your district or your county. And in the 90s, one of the ways that the GOP started gaining ground, because you got to remember, until about 1998, the South, and a lot of local legislators were still big Democrats, still heavy blue. They voted Republican in the national elections, but in your local elections, it was still very blue. And one of the ways that Republicans gained ground that way was saying we're going to cut property taxes. Well, because of that, especially here in South Carolina, you had these areas whose property taxes were already so low, and cutting them meant that their schools were no longer funded. So we've got this whole issue of the I-95 corridor. Anyone that grew up anywhere in the Southeast has probably heard about the I-95 corridor, they have some of the poorest districts of every single state. And the main thought that has been used to help fix this is raising property taxes. But the problem is that you already have people that can't afford the property taxes right now, but if you raise them, they're not going to be able to afford them because they don't have a good enough job that gives them the money to be able to afford it. So how do you fix that? And what I want done is, I think you've got these huge swaths of land along at least South Carolina's I-95 corridor that what they ought to do is start bringing companies in. They ought to do what Greenville did. They ought to do what Charleston did with Boeing. And until that happens, I don't think anything like property tax is going away.
Does that go to? Do property taxes go towards national parks as well, or no?
Like, does the Department of the Interior get?
I just looked for Georgia. It's like 50 to 60% of property taxes goes to school funding. So that's pretty significant here.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. It's like a complex issue.
It is entirely a complex issue.
What if I propose that we not
have?
How
are people getting this fucking link, Jim? At least fucking ask.
Oh, I'm only sending it to people that you would accept.
He flipped me off.
But no, I think.
What's up,
how about we propose, instead of property tax and it puts your land in potential jeopardy, that we just have a school district tax. Why not? I mean, I would be comfortable with paying for my county school. Sure.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, nice.
How do these people keep getting the links?
I just posted the link on Twitter, so I mean,
yeah, I'm leaking it. I'm leaking it all over the place.
Just showed up like this.
This is that now. What kind? So that answers the question about whether or not you're a feather or a dot.
Say what?
Jim got that right.
It felt like
you just made this awkward.
Dig.
Okay, yeah, shit.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Did you guys see the? I don't know. What were we talking about?
That was from MASH.
Property tax, income tax.
Oh, I mean, before that, when he pivoted, when he said, "I'm going to pivot."
What were we talking about before I pivoted?
You said we're going to pivot. We started talking about something, then we jumped on property tax.
I
was my bad.
I was asking Jim about the Auburn basketball team that might not be able to fly anywhere anymore.
It's basketball, Rob. It's not football. Calm down.
Rob doesn't like sports in general, though.
Yeah,
I like sports. You guys are obsessed with it, man.
I've just spent the last 2 hours talking about politics.
MASH agrees with my idea. For your schools, just have a school tax for your county, for your district, whatever. Okay. I'm completely willing to pay for that. You know, my biggest discrepancy for taxes is I'm not confident on where and how that money is spent. Mm-hmm. So if
100%,
if you just blanket statement property tax and a certain percentage goes to this and the other stuff is, don't worry about the other stuff.
Well, and I'm
not cool with that.
That's one of the issues is, we've got, and so this is what's kind of funny about anyone that basically went to school in South Carolina has watched this documentary probably 3 or 4 times because it's almost required learning about the I-95 corridor and the amount of money that goes to some of these schools. Lexington County has some of the best schools in the state and some of the best schools in the Southeast. And they spend about, I think it's like $9,000 a student. And then you go to some of these other schools that spend about $180 a student. And it's like, well, why the fuck is the legislature apportioning the money like that? Lexington 1 doesn't need 8,000 a person because all their shit's already done. They got the brand new school. They got all the teachers. They don't need 8,000 a head. Let's move some of that money, and it's all because of testing. Everyone gets money based on how they test.
Well, we should just get rid of those schools. Just hear me out. Get rid of those schools, all right? And then from now on, every child gets Neuralink, and we just upload the knowledge.
No.
Each year, they get an upgrade. Update, kind of like Windows update, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like,
you remember when the Windows update crashed?
No.
U.S. economy like 4 weeks ago.
Neuralink, what could go wrong?
That wasn't Windows. That was.
Hang on. There's Elon's next tagline. Neuralink, what could go wrong?
Yeah, just think we have like a bunch of Neos running around. Just every year you get an update. You know what?
I already saw that in my elementary school. A bunch of kids running around with their arms behind them. We don't need more of that.
Wow, you're young.
Well,
Sean, what's your opinion on the matter of income tax or property tax? Which would you rather be deleted?
Well, probably property tax because your income tax.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Probably.
I was sitting there just waiting.
Yeah. Hey, was that when he talked about James Comey? He called him stupid.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw that. That's what at that moment in the Rogan interview, I was like, he is way too comfortable. He thinks he's winning.
So this is the one this is what I thought.
It's a whole new world out there.
It's a different world. And
but, I'm on TikTok now.
Congratulations.
And I've done really well. No, but the crazy.
Congratulations.
He was so happy about it.
But no, please, Sean, what's your elaboration?
The income tax, as long as it's, different states do it different ways, but like, as long as it's managed in a way that is fair, right? To where, like, right now I pay a certain tax on my base salary, and then I'm on a 50-50 OTE on target compensation, right?
Sure.
And so, but when I get paid commission, which I do every month, I pay like 37% on that.
Jeez.
37% on commission. So when they tell you, you know, you're going to make
do you
this,
think commission will be wrapped in with the overtime? No tax on overtime?
No. I'll be paying 37%. I paid 30.
Or no, you're going to be switching to hourly is what you're going to be doing.
No, he'll still get commission.
They pay me a flat base salary, and then I make commission every month. And your commission at plan at 100% of quota is dollar for dollar. It's 50-50 base salary commission. So if they say your on target earnings is $350,000, split that in half, and half of that's your base salary, half of that's your commission at plan. Once you go over plan, you start making accelerators. But you're 37% the first commission check. It's not like you have to make the first $100,000 and then it goes to 37. You're at 37 on all commission. And
I think commission will be the if he were to actually start eliminating every single income tax, I think commission would be one of the last ones ever eliminated.
Sure. And look, I'm fine with it, right? Because I make a good living. I'm fortunate. I understand that I get taxed differently on my base salary than I do commission. So I'm fine with it. But for someone who is self-employed, you know, like my wife is like, you know, she's self-employed. She pays for like booth rental and then does her salon stuff. And so she's, I mean, you know, taxes is a whole different ballgame for her, you know? And so, but the biggest thing was this idiot was out on the campaign trail, Harris, and was talking about, you know, couldn't even explain the impact of the corporate tax rate for businesses, 21% going to 28%. Like it was nothing. I go, let me tell you what's going to happen. People that employ 5 people are going to let one of them go.
Yeah.
If they go, if you take 7% on a person that's running a ice cream shop or an automotive center or anything that's less than 50 employees, they're going to be like, man, we can't do that. So they lay people off. They cut your benefits. And people that have never run a business before, you could tell she's like, shit. And they didn't even debrief her to be like, hey, here's how you talk about this. So then you just go, hey, when you go on these shows, don't ask these questions. And we're not going to answer these. Like, well, now you have a candidate that can never talk policy.
Yeah.
Which again, I was like, why wouldn't she go on Rogan? He said, I'm not going to be hard on her talking about policy. I just want to know her as a human being. But when you don't even feel comfortable enough to go on a show where the guy says, I'm just going to have a conversation with you, I'm not going to grill you on taxation. And she wouldn't even do that. I'm like, man, you're not letting people know who you really are, or you don't want them to know who you really are.
This was my favorite one.
So you know how those lids are, because
I love the music.
Those lids on the Starbucks cups, they're white, right? So if you wear lipstick, they get all over the lid. And so then I find myself in meetings if I'm the only woman, and that's kind of, and so I keep taking the lid off and having my cup out so that I don't have that big lipstick mark on the lid.
So fucking dumb.
Could you imagine her in a room with Putin?
Yeah, it's a lot like I mean, it'd be worse than what's her name from Germany in a room with Putin, who's afraid of dogs. Angela Merkel.
Dude, yeah, just on the domestic policy, she probably has no clue about tax policy, business, like how businesses work, how hiring, firing employees, you know, cost of goods and supply chains. Like, you got to know this stuff if you're going to be at least trying to pander to the freaking people. But yeah, if she would have been pressed on that by Rogan or anybody, it would have been, I would have loved it because it would have been good material.
Absolutely. And how do you, that's the other thing I want to, how do you spend $1.2 billion? You know,
I'll tell you how. Oh, you probably
launder it. Yeah.
No, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Cardi B, Bon Jovi. Who was the other one? Megan Stallion.
You would have
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah,
Jennifer
you would have
Lopez,
thought just
that's where the money went.
Yeah, you would have thought just the hey, we won't leak the Diddy lists would have been enough.
Mm-hmm.
Eminem, yeah.
Oh, she paid Megan Thee Stallion probably more than anybody because she performed.
Yeah, well, she was the first one.
Yeah.
I remember I was sitting in, and this is when I kind of knew that I should never say anything about politics on my team at my firm, is because this I'm sitting there, and I think it's the next morning, and someone was like, "Hey," to one of the paralegals, you know that she was, because I think she had sent like a GIF of Megan Thee Stallion. It's like, "Hey, you see her at Harris's rally last night?" And this paralegal was like, "Yeah, I was really upset though, because I wanted, she's got like an actual degree. She's got a public health degree. And I wanted to hear what she had to say and not hear her perform." And I'm just sitting there thinking, I don't think what she had to say would have been any better than her singing. But okay. Like I can tell you from experience, a public health degree is not that hard to get.
Yeah,
no.
It's almost as easy as a. You guys are getting paid?
Yeah. Trump, I guarantee you, Trump didn't pay that dude. Yeah. So 1.2 billion versus 400 million, and then they got the nerve.
Not even 400, right?
To go,
it was like 370.
Yeah, and then they got the nerve to say, "We need Elon Musk and the big donors taking the money out of this." I'm like, wait a second. Elon Musk donated like 14% of what George Soros donated to the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? You want to take the money out of it? Okay. Like, if you look at George Soros's family and his children, who's married to who, and the Clinton family, like they're intertwined. They're actually breeding now via families.
It's like the old royal families.
That's the fact. They're trying to breed generations of Soroses and Clintons, and so that they can say, look, we're gonna reshape society.
Sackler.
Laura Trump just announced, I say just actually 9 hours ago, announced that the GOP legal teams are still closely watching the key races across the country.
So I will say, I think that was a huge difference in this race. Is that I think
230,000
Republicans had people at these locations that were questionable last time, that were hawkeyeing that shit, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the next coming days or weeks or so we start seeing people saying, "We stopped this."
Dude, they fucking robbed. Sorry for cussing. They robbed Sam Brown in Nevada, who has his whole face.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
Yeah, but he's got his whole face mangled from serving in war, and the Culinary Union and the Harry Reid old machine finding 100,000 votes a day and a half later, and you think that's legitimate? That's a bunch of bull.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the reasons why when people start on the night of, people started saying the whole 20 million thing. I was like, okay, hang on, guys, because there's
13 million. But
they're still counting.
Yeah, they're still counting, and even
13 million.
Yeah, but now it's like 9.
Still, look.
So like, I mean, yeah, it's
the graph isn't perfect up
Exactly.
here. This one should be here, but still.
0% chance he got that much more than Obama in 2012. 0%.
Yeah.
No chance.
Yeah. The Trump hate wasn't that strong. And the only compelling argument that I've heard is maybe the fact that COVID was happening during the election, and there might have been a drive for a return to normalcy. And perhaps Biden was painted that way. He wasn't to me. Obviously.
I definitely think that Biden was painted as a, I don't want to say good old boy, because I don't think that's right, but let's go with what you said, a return to normalcy.
Just back to, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Just pull up that chart again.
I do think that resonated with a lot of people, but I don't think it resonated to that
one's
level.
Up here.
So look at Biden's now in 2020, but look at Trump's.
Yeah,
I would make the case that because you had
millions.
Sean,
Trump's is actually here now. It's on par now.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little bit old. Trump's is actually up here now.
Okay.
So Trump's at 74. She's at 70.
And this was 74 as well. So
it's
the same for Trump.
Okay. So that makes me feel a little bit better, because what I was about to say was, with so many millions of mail-in ballots because of COVID, you're going to have fraud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jimmy Carter
100%.
said that 40 years ago.
Yep. And Jimmy Carter's an idiot.
Well, they brought out his corpse out in the park staring up at the sky before they took him to vote. I mean, like, golly, man.
Oh, dude, you want to talk about just let the man rest.
Yeah,
well, that's what I've been saying about Biden the last 4 years. Just let the man rest. Honestly, at this point, it's fucking elder abuse. And also, who the fuck is running the country? And whoever gave that speech, and I don't know if you have it on hand, or Biden's address to the nation after Trump won.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but that was not Biden.
Well, you said because he was sharper?
Yeah.
It goes back to that video, Michael Bay video. It was all
not
part of the plan.
Yeah. Dude, Biden, if you don't think Biden is so happy that she lost, he came out there for that press conference that you saw, the speech you're talking about, Jim, and he was like, man, I'm pumped up today. He was like, he was in a good mood. His wife wore red to go vote.
He was live to the T.
Dude.
Wow, his wife, I think, was all about parading him around. But I think she's just an awful person. But
to answer your question, who's running the government right now? The Obama machine's running it. The same people have been running it for 4 years.
Obama said it himself. There's an interview where he said, if I could set it up to where there could be a front man, and I could be in my basement in my sweatpants and just run it from the. He fucking said it out loud, and I'll be damned if that's not how it's going right.
He's been running it for 16 years. People go, well, what about the 4 years when Trump was in office? The minute Trump upset Hillary and won, Obama started the machine with impeachments and locking him.
Nancy too.
Did real quick? Did y'all see Patrick Starr gave a speech about the election?
Who's Patrick Starr?
SpongeBob SquarePants. His friend.
Oh, Patrick.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Poor
this
girl.
Video
she's freaking smoking hot.
Done a few times for me because I'm struggling myself.
She don't have a neck.
And I know there's others that are struggling as well as of the election.
She's struggling to breathe.
Results currently.
How is she going to have
every
an abortion now?
She's struggling to stay upright.
Counted and everything else. Nothing is officially, but it is official. I just want to let you all know that if you need to talk, I will be available to talk.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to other family members or anything,
if you want to go out to dinner,
have a bottle of wine, an entire bottle of wine. It's okay. Having ice cream.
There you go.
Just talk to someone.
What did you have? All 31 flavors?
Cooking skills, anything like that. If you want to not talk to friends or family, there is also, if you need, the crisis number, which is 988.
XXXL.
Everyone is struggling.
She didn't finish the number.
988 Big Mac.
She ate the rest of the numbers.
Caleb, I gave you something in Discord if you want to put it up.
Hey, don't be fat shaming.
Real quick.
Get it together, guys. Get it together.
I saw this the first time.
You see me? I can do whatever the fuck I want.
It's for your clips. So
I do feel bad for her, though.
Says for $2 she should do a neck reveal, and she totally should. But the only problem is I don't think she can lift her arms up to pull the foreskin down.
I question if she could even wipe her own ass at this point.
Foreskin.
about Richie? Do you have any kids?
Never had a date.
Clark?
Never spoke to a girl.
Gus?
John Lovitz is great.
What's his name?
I love that one.
John Lovitz.
I love that one.
Who's Rolo's partner? What's his name?
Roman.
Roman. Oh, I bet he's crushed.
We had a whole thing where I teach him a couple lessons.
Bro, he's so just either way.
Ooh. The Centaur, she doesn't look like a Centaur.
Yeah, no, Caleb, I sent you a good
who are they saying
clip do you want to have in your armatoire there?
Who are they saying for Secretary of Defense? Have we heard some of the names for
defense? I haven't heard anything.
Pompeo.
I don't bullshit. I hope it's not him.
God, no, please no.
Fuck that guy.
I saw people mentioning Tulsi.
I know Joe was speculating that, but
Tulsi?
Yeah, for state.
Well, she's former military, but
yeah, it takes a little.
I thought she might be up for Secretary
Hillary
of
held
State.
the position, so she could surely do it.
Hillary was Secretary of State.
It's what I said.
Gates.
I said that they were talking about Tulsi for state.
State. Okay. Yeah. Gates was Secretary of Defense under Obama.
Small Time Republic said Alabama's rep
Mike Rogers.
Mike Rogers? I'm not familiar.
Oh no. That's the dude that was
this guy. This guy. Because there's actually two Mike Rogers. There's one in the Senate and there's one in the House.
Yeah.
American lawyer and politician.
The one in the Senate lost, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
One of them lost.
This year?
Yes, one of the Rogers guys lost in the race.
For Senate?
Yeah, this says served as.
Yeah, he lost.
Too bad.
Yeah, Alabama rep Mike Rogers for Secretary of Defense. That's an important position. I mean, he's going to put that guy back as the border czar. You know, the guy that's been real loyal to him. That's been doing all the interviews the last few years.
Sure.
So that's you mean the border? You think they'll do border czar and not just like
Homeland Security?
I think he'll be Homeland Security.
Yeah, the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah, the big guy.
Yeah.
I thought the big guy was Joe Biden.
The big guy.
Yeah.
Dude, I want that guy dressed up as a woman out. I want them. I was talking to someone in my family the other day that Caleb, I'm talking about that's the Navy SEALs. And all the crap that's happened with like the women getting into some of these special forces where they don't have to pass some of the same requirements, and that you put them out,
Peaches,
and they put their guys at risk, man. When they're not trained to the level of the guys around them, that's dangerous. They got to get all that crap out. Why would you ever have DEI in the military? That is just fucking ridiculous.
That's Biden's military.
Like DEI for flying planes. No. You need to be able to fly the damn plane. Like, sorry. Like, you're talking about living and dying by how you're trained, your ability.
Yep.
It's, So, he's hopefully what he went through in 2016 when he just, he said he talked about all the lobbyists, and people, getting guys in that hopefully he's ready for this. He hired Howard Lutnick.
Well, that's he's been self-funding his transition team for the last month now.
Yeah, Howard Lutnick was running it, and he's a good man. Howard Lutnick, that was my customer, Cantor Fitzgerald, when the planes hit the towers in 9/11. I was on the account team. That was my customer, and Howard Lutnick was the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, and they were like on the 110th floor, 109th floor, and they lost like 600. You can look it up, 600 something people, like 90 something % of their whole company gone. And he almost bankrupted the company, paying the families the salaries of people that were gone.
Right.
And at the time, he was told, "Don't do that. You could file through insurance, and you don't have to do that." And he said, "No, I'm doing it." And the company survived. And he's running the transition team. So I hope they don't bring anybody in that.
Well, I think if you listen to his, which is, I mean, it sounds like we all did. If you listen to his episode with Rogan, it really sounds like he understands where he fucked up, and he listened to the wrong people. And I think what's your name is going to keep him on the right track of who to listen to.
Well, and again,
then did you real quick? Did you hear the? I don't know if this is like officially the story, but apparently it was an intern or someone that came to him with the idea of going on these podcasts.
It was Barron.
No. So he asked the intern, "Did you run this by Barron yet?" Because Barron was
his finger
the guy
on
it. He was the guy that was telling him like how to go. I don't think he was the campaign.
The Aiden Ross and
I'm telling you, you guys got to watch that thing I posted. It covers all the team that he has around him are like super TikTokers, super like they're just all professionals in their fields of communication and marketing, and they're all young, they're all influencers, they're all part of that game. So like the team that he surrounded himself with was perfect. They did everything perfectly. With all the podcasts and the interviews and the McDonald's and the trucks and that
McDonald's photo is iconic. Dude, that's going to be in history books.
So obviously, you know that when he got shot, that was a big moment, right? When he stood up, not smart to do it, but he stood up because he still could have got popped. Like not smart logistically, but you know the moment that he stood up with blood on his face, that was a big moment. That just you can't choreograph. It just happened. And then the choreographed part was her dumbass line about working at McDonald's. And he shows up, and the best thing was when he walked in and he goes, "I'm here. I'm excited to work." He goes, "You know, my opponent never worked a day at McDonald's in her life." He started talking to the manager about Kamala. I was like, dude, he's crazy.
And another thing, the way McDonald's handled that was perfect. You want to talk about a masterclass in dealing with the fact that you've got millions of employees, let's say half of which support the guy, half of which don't. And you decide, you know what? We're not taking a stance. This was the franchisee's right to do it. It's his business. So we're going to tell him that, you know, you can do what you want, but this is not McDonald's standpoint. And that's all they said. A lot of these other companies would have said, we don't support Donald Trump in any way, but this is it's his right. They would have been negative about it, but McDonald's was straight down the middle. Perfect. That's how a business should be run.
Well handled, right? Yeah.
And then the garbage thing, man. You know, you're like, oh damn,
perfect troll, man. He's good at it.
Absolutely. And then he gave the speech in Michigan wearing the orange reflective vest.
They don't understand they're messing with a guy that's been in the he's been in the fucking cameras, the bright lights since since the 90s?
Since the late 70s with Studio 54.
Yeah.
I mean,
how many times did he be on SNL?
You're talking about a guy that's just unfazed by that
and
shit.
That was, dude, that was another fuck up by her campaign. To go on SNL was a big mistake because it forced NBC to give Trump free 90 seconds.
Yeah.
NBC lost money by having Kamala Harris on.
Yeah. And
he ran a beautiful ad.
Also, just when SNL was trying to be funny again, they did the Celebrity Jeopardy, right?
Yeah.
And it was the a random question. They had the gal dressed up as Kamala, and she's Steve, I grew up in a middle class family, and
yeah,
it was
everyone like it really was.
Yep.
You start with Shane Gillis, about 3 months ago?
Yep.
And it runs through, and it's like SNL is kind of funny again. And then it felt like they went, oh my God, he's gonna win, and went straight back to what they were doing.
Well, the writers, it's just
so. Yeah. We have seen now. So apparently, Trump's met or talked to over 70 world leaders now. Does anyone think he's talked to his old friend over at North Korea yet?
I doubt it.
It's been quiet on that front, though, to be fair.
Yes. But North Korea did just send soldiers to help fight for Russia, who are now all addicted to porn.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So do you think so? We already know that basically everyone's gone, oh shit. Like what's his name over Putin has already said we're committed to try and find peace. Zelensky's already said I can't wait for this to be over. All this shit. And he's already
I maintain before it was even really long before it was a foregone conclusion that he was going to win, that Putin had stated, because he was asked about Trump's statements of his claims of saying that he could end it, quickly, very quickly, within days or so, right? And the question was posed to Putin, and obviously we have to trust the translation of that.
Yeah.
But his answer was, and it was almost the same expression that I'm giving off is I'd be totally willing to hear out what he has to say. I mean, bro, that kind of shit, that kind of energy that he brought to the world leaders and to the potential threats to the world, there was a deep respect just when he walked into NATO and the UN and he established a presence like that is not go unnoticed. And especially with people that also have a power complex and other things like that. Like when somebody is imposing, you take them seriously, and he is imposing.
The Belarusian government has already announced that if he gets the Israel stuff and the Ukrainian stuff under control, they will nominate him for the World Peace Prize. And which they already the senators in Switzerland.
Get ready for mainstream media to deem that organization as racist.
So senators in Switzerland already nominated him. I actually they're parliamentary. They're parliamentary. So what are they called? MPs. They already nominated him 7 years ago when he did the Abraham Accords. Yeah. They put him up for the Nobel Peace Prize, and Obama they said, that. Yeah. Well, Well, that's because Obama wanted to be the only president to win one.
Felicity's got a good comment down there too.
Theodore Roosevelt. Yeah. Theodore Roosevelt won it.
Theodore Roosevelt won a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, look it up.
For what?
For the Prussian War. Look up and see.
I know he won a. I know
Obama got it like as soon as he got into office, didn't he?
Yeah,
if I remember right.
Do you remember why?
I assume for nothing, really.
The drinks. Remember when he invited the cop and the criminal for drinks?
Oh yeah,
that's what he got it for.
When they acted stupidly or something like that.
His role in bringing to an end the bloody war recently waged between two of the world's great powers, Japan and Russia. Okay. Hey, you know who else was also nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize?
We will ask the questions.
Hey, Theodore Roosevelt put those fuckers on a boat and walked in and said, "Are you guys ready?" They go, "Well, we haven't really started talking." He was like, "You got 5 minutes. This war's over." And
Roosevelt's best thing was when he sailed the Great White Fleet around the world. He sailed it just far enough to where the U.S. had to pay to bring him home. Love it.
Dude, you'll never see another person anywhere near the White House like Theodore Roosevelt ever.
Dude was legit.
Never see that again. Like, and you know, he was born into privilege, but almost died when he was a kid. Had major, and had to learn how to box to try to build up his lungs and his stamina. And then he gets married and loses his wife and his mother in the same day.
Same day, within 4 hours of each other. Do you remember what day it was?
Was it Valentine's Day?
It was Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's coming back from Albany, and he gets a telegram that his was it first his wife? His mother was sick.
I think it was his wife and then his mom, because he wrote in his diary after his wife died, the light has gone out in my life.
The light has gone out in my life. And then he packs his bags and he goes to the Dakota Badlands. And it changed who he was. I mean, like yes, it's fascinating. So Theodore Roosevelt, man.
So a whistleblower came out a couple hours ago and said that FEMA officially ordered relief workers to skip houses with Trump signs.
Yeah, I'll just send it on the private chat. I was wondering if you're going to cover this. So it's been confirmed by FEMA, and they put out an official statement condemning it and severe action.
Who made that decision?
One of the representatives, and I imagine it was. You can see on the computer screen if you go to the next post or yeah,
dude, that is
Trump sign, no contact per leadership. Dude.
And I'm not going to jump immediately into the conspiracy, like, because they don't want to help Trump supporters. It was probably because they didn't want, or the perception that they didn't want any kind of confrontation. And they just made the assumption that you were only going to get that from anybody with a Trump sign, is my guess. Unless that person is just straight up demonic. But this could have been like, because I'll tell you, the rumors going around when I was up there with FEMA, and they were worried about militias. They were worried about people confronting them because there was a lot of bad blood between the people and the official agents, which were scarce when I was in Asheville.
FEMA confirms this incident, saying it is deeply disturbed by this employee's actions, horrified that this took place, and that it has taken extreme actions to correct the situation. Here's the actions I want. I want their name. I want to know when they were fired, and I want to know that they will never be hired by the federal government again.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Crimson Law asked in your chat, did he take a shot during a speech? Yeah, Roosevelt, he decided that he made a mistake, and he picked Taft to be president, and he was a disaster. So he decided to run, and the Republicans screwed him out of the convention. So he ran as a third party candidate.
Moose. Yep.
And he was given a speech, and he got shot. I saw it in the museum, his booklet, in his shirt that still has the blood on it.
So thick that it stopped the bullet.
The bullet hit the book, but he still got wounded, and he spoke for like another hour, and people could barely hear him. He was speaking very softly. And that's when he made the statement, it'll take more than a bullet to take down this bull moose.
Well, don't forget what his main thing was: speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah, but his lungs were filling up with blood. That's why he was speaking softly.
Indeed.
Could you imagine you get shot and you speak for another hour? It's crazy.
I still like the classic Reagan when the balloon popped. And
you missed
me. Absolutely phenomenal.
Breaking. Trump reportedly plans to withdraw U.S. from the Paris Climate Pact. How many times are we going to do this?
Yeah.
This will be his second time doing this.
This is why it's got to be different now. And what's the latest on the House? Do they have the House yet?
So
there's
Fox
10
called,
potentials that are leaning towards Republican right now.
Yeah. So Fox called it. They said they're going to get it, but they haven't. The races haven't finished.
So all this stuff Trump's talking about, like obviously you guys know, it's one thing to do some executive orders in the short term, first 10 days, whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But they got to pass these laws. Like he's got to pass a national voter ID law. Did you know that every state in the United States that did not have voter ID requirements, she won?
Yeah.
And every state that had voter ID requirements, she lost.
Except for Pennsylvania.
I will say, that is sort of a misnomer because let's look at those states. California. Okay. Well, I don't care what voter ID laws they have in California. Trump was not going to win California. It just wasn't going to happen. Oregon. Trump's not winning Oregon. Washington. Sorry. So we can definitely use that argument. Maine. Trump's not winning Maine. Vermont. Not winning. So we can use that argument in general, but when you look at the states that she won, there's only really 2 or 3. I'll get Virginia maybe, but you don't really hear a lot about illegals in Virginia. At least I don't. There might be, but my algorithm is really filtered for South Carolina. So
now, what was the comment about Virginia? You said
you don't really hear a lot about illegals in Virginia, maybe illegally voting.
I was going to say, you don't have to be an illegal to illegally vote.
Well, that's a good point.
I mean, me and Rob can sit down and go, hey, man, we went and did some ballot harvesting. They just paid us $1,000.
Vote
vote
early and vote often.
Dude, it's not hard to do. And he did a lot better in California. I mean, I know he lost by a good amount.
1.8, I think.
Well, and Jersey's closer. He got closer in New York and Jersey.
He got better in, I think, every state.
Well, so again, I don't know if you tucked it away, but the California between then and now, like counties wise, is insane.
Yeah.
Can you pull that back up, Caleb? Because I love looking at that because it's to me one of the most intriguing things. And yeah, they probably, what's the estimated? Probably close to 700,000 people left California within the last 4 years.
Left?
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it's about that. But that's the difference right there. That's huge. Huge.
And it's only gonna change even more because they're probably gonna lose 5 or 6 House seats come 2031.
Florida's gonna get them. Florida's gonna get them.
Florida and Texas, yeah. South Carolina may pick up one as well.
I don't know about lose, but for sure. Well, not for sure, but it's looking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 California seats will be red.
Yeah. So California actually has probably about a third of their House seats are usually red. It just so happens that in these very small blue areas up and down the coast. I mean, Los Angeles County probably has 4 or 5 representatives.
So as of right now, confirmed. Before those what did I say, 5, right? Before those 5 are confirmed, it's 35-7 Democrat to Republican.
Yeah,
and add 5, so 35-12. So we will. We'll see. I mean, that's certainly better than it's been.
Were they talking about giving Florida more electoral votes?
Well, they'll get more electoral votes.
Yeah.
So your electoral college is your senators, representatives.
Right.
I just want a national voter ID law so that we will know for sure that if there's going to be fraud, you still have to present an ID. I want them to work a little bit harder.
Here's the issue with
also, can we make mail-in votes like
gone.
Yeah.
So here's the issue with.
I'll turn it over to you. I promise. But in my personal circle here, my in-laws, they live in Florida, right? They live in Gainesville, which is not the best county for Republicans, but nonetheless, they did mail-in ballots, and they could have easily gone to their local precinct and done it. But for them, it was more, convenient, easier to do a mail-in ballot and go drop it off. Personally, that ticked me off because you are inviting the possibility of them just tossing away that ballot potentially, because there's a progression of where that ballot goes, and there's an exchanging of hands and a transfer of. If you go to the actual fucking place, whether the machines are legit or whatever, you mitigate a lot of the horse shit. So that immediately pissed me off. And I'm like, why? Why do a mail-in vote? You literally have a precinct 2 minutes away driving distance to go, and you have early voting now. I'm not against early voting.
So here's what I think. I think we have an election day. I think you should vote on election day. If you're going to allow, if you're going to allow any sort of asterisk on that, I'm okay with early voting. Not a month and a half out like some states have it, but if you want to do a week and let people come in and vote, I want voter ID. I want signatures to match. I want them to have to be registered. I want all that shit. But what
you should have a reason. You should have to file a reason to request a mail-in vote.
Here's the thing, though. Okay, one thing that you have to remember, and because I bring this up because you've said it now a couple times, federal voter laws. There are 3 federal laws when it comes to voting. You have to be over the age of 18. You cannot be a felon, and you have to be a citizen.
Does that mean Trump couldn't vote?
I don't know. I do have. I got a way that'll fix all of this. There's like all of the in-person voting. This will be. Yeah, you have to be sentenced.
True.
This will fix everything. Now, hear me out. Everybody has Neuralink, and only people with Neuralink can vote.
He's a stupid son of a bitch.
And hold on, hear me out. If you have Neuralink, you get the ballot, sample ballot, like in your brain, and it's immediate.
Hit the brother.
Can I ask you, like,
problem solved?
So, is Elon's dick like small? Is it big? Like you just been sucking on that thing all day.
No, I don't give a shit about Elon. The Neuralink is fucking badass.
So
you telling me you wouldn't get Neuralink if you gave it for free? Bullshit.
Hell no.
I'm not going to be the first. I'm not going to be the first.
I'm not putting some random piece of technology in my fucking brain.
If I was paralyzed, yes.
Caleb, but you may change your opinion on this when I tell you this. So supposedly, how they install it is they insert it up your rectum. So does that change your opinion?
He's a stupid son of a bitch.
I'm going to get so much use out of that.
Hey,
yeah, you are.
Hey, one of the funniest things.
Please.
One of the funniest things. I don't know who said it, but like Felicity in chat was talking about black people don't have IDs. Like when the Democrat, I don't know who it was, but they were talking about not having.
They all say it.
There's black people in this country that don't even know what a computer is.
Oh my god! So this is my favorite thing.
One of the most racist things I've heard in the whole election cycle was when they were talking about voter IDs because black people don't get IDs. Like what the?
So this whole South
That's
Carolina.
What they call the soft bigotry, right? Or the soft.
South Carolina is actually the reason voter ID became even a topic to begin with. Back in 2008, South Carolina tried to institute required voter ID, and a 3-panel judge a panel of judges in D.C. struck it down because in section 5B of the Civil Rights Act, of the not civil rights, the 19th Amendment, 14th Amendment, one of them, 15th Amendment, whatever. It said that any of these 9 states that choose to institute voter laws have to either be approved by the Supreme Court or a panel of judges in D.C. So South Carolina had to go before this panel of judges, argue their law, and the panel of judges struck it down. In 2012, the AG, Alan Wilson, sued the federal government to have that portion of the amendment struck down, and it was because the reasoning behind the law when it was passed was that South Carolina had been one of the 8 states that was racist, and they
one of the 8.
Yeah, right, one of the 8, only 8. And so Peaches, I think you're thinking of the 10th Amendment. And so what this law was trying to do was basically say you need to get an ID to vote. If you cannot afford a driver's license, here is a free photo ID. And they were trying to say that was racist and hurtful to Black people. And it's like, what part of free do you not fucking understand? That's my favorite part about it, is they sit there and they try to argue, well, Black people can't get a driver's license. I drove by a Black guy driving his truck 4 hours ago. They can't drive now? I think that's racist.
Did you speed past him really fast?
No.
Oh.
Why? What?
Nothing.
Fuck, he's gonna get me taken down.
No.
So the 10th Amendment is the amendment that says that all rights not.
You're talking about the 15th. You're talking about the 15th Amendment.
Yeah, so the 15th is the one I was talking about. But I think Peaches was talking about the 10th Amendment, which is the one that says all rights not herein stated are referred to the state or the people. That's my favorite one.
Look, the most insufferable thing of this election too, was listening to white women lecture everybody on the planet, right, about how racist they were, how uneducated, how sexist, and then you see the chicks on The View. Now they're saying Latinos and Hispanics and Black misogynistic and racist, and so now it's not just the
not just the white guys.
It's just
they're so annoying.
I'm like, you don't listen. It's just and it's like white women speaking for other women of color, and it's it's cringe, man. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know Sundowners will have an interesting take on this. I found this very interesting. A couple hours after the election, this is what David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers, said. It's too early to tell, but it may offer a pace of change and an opportunity for consolidation that may be quite different, that would provide a real positive, accelerated impact on the industry that's needed. So I'm curious, do you think he's talking about just it might allow us to sell stuff and we might not have to deal with the FCC as much? Or do you think he's talking about, wow, we might be able to make pro-American and real man movies now?
No, he's talking about deregulation and mergers and acquisitions.
Mm-hmm. Well, shit.
Getting rid of the red tape. Bureaucratic red tape.
This guy doesn't care about the content.
I mean, considering his company is $42 billion in the hole, you would think he might care about the content.
Well, look, I just did a video on it to come out tomorrow, but he's focusing on the IPs that make money. They're not doing much of anything else. He's like, we're going to do Lord of the Rings,
Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, and DC, preferably Batman,
and Mortal Kombat for gaming.
Yeah. So the video games are focusing on DC, preferably Batman, Game of Thrones, which I still don't know how you make a Westeros video game unless you just put an RPG set in Westeros. I feel like you can't make a Game of Thrones video game. A, we don't know the end of the story, and B, that would be really, in my opinion, I think that would be boring. And then
I don't think so.
Mortal Kombat, and then
you're telling me you can go basically, mercenary, get money, buy a fleet, get out on the seas, go to battle, come back, build armies.
But you've got to do it within the confines of that story. I think if you were to set it in Westeros, that it'd be $1 billion video game.
Yeah.
But if you tried to say that it's going to follow the trail of the story that we don't even have the ending for, I think you'd have a loser in your hands.
I think
it would end up like that.
I think you're like the Mandalorian. You're a character in Westeros that can.
Okay. They were talking about me.
Yeah. Immersive.
Maricopa is trending.
Yeah. Zaslav just wants to. He's trying to get the regulations out of the way so he can save the company or get bought or.
Did you Arizona Secretary of State?
I was going to ask each of you. Did y'all think Trump was going to win?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was very weary that shenanigans were going to happen, and I'm glad to, in hindsight, see that that it at least appears that a lot of that shit was mitigated to the most extreme this time, but. I felt the same way I felt in 2020. I thought momentum was on Trump's side. I thought the country was on Trump's side. Obviously, personally, and this is not a reflection on Caleb's channel, but personally, I felt 2020 was a sham and was stolen. And I think there's evidence that has not been properly brought to light in a palatable format, but I think there is evidence that did happen.
I keep refreshing my email for your channel has been canceled.
Right.
Again, can you imagine? Can you imagine if he had won in 20 and he still had Pence and he did not have the House of Representatives and the Senate? He would have gotten nothing done, and now he's got.
But if it would have been legitimate. But if it would have been legitimate, he would have also.
Yeah, he probably would have carried at least one of them.
Right, exactly.
But also,
like people vote down ballot, right? So if it's legitimate, then
I don't think if he would have stayed in office, he didn't have the right people around him to support him.
Yes.
Whether it was his advisors, his chief of staff, like there wasn't the people like he has now. Hopefully, I mean, he seems to have learned from his mistakes.
He needed a reset.
Yeah.
He also didn't have a quote unquote successor.
So there for sure is Mike Pence is not it. But for sure we found out not found out, but we went through these last 4 years, and perhaps it's been for the better. Obviously wasn't great for those who have struggled and those who have been affected greatly by all of these disastrous policies, but potentially enough of America has grown a backbone and has stood up and said that's a fucking enough. I think that's the message this week and this cycle is Americans have stood up and said that's fucking enough. We're done with this bullshit. No more of this woke DEI horse shit. We're done playing your fucking games. We're gonna get back to normalcy. We're gonna get shit back on track, and people's lives are gonna be better, and people are no longer gonna struggle versus having, the American standard is that the next generation is supposed to be 2 to 3 times better off than their previous. And that has not been the fucking case.
Nope.
Because if I was in my parents' situation, I would be sitting fat and happy with the amount that I'm making now and everything like that. No. Now's day and age, we're still scraping by because the middle class and the lower class has dissolved I mean, the chart is like this.
They've merged. They're the same class now, almost.
Bro, it's seriously, it's like this.
Fuck
and
you.
then it shoots up.
We're gonna not to completely interrupt you, but we're gonna wrap up. I think 3 hours. Holy shit, this went by real quick,
bro.
Oh my god, hang on.
He's a stupid son of a bitch.
What happened? What was that?
You happened. You fucking changed your profile to Neuralink.
This is great.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why you're such a hater.
Hey,
it's gonna be like cell phones back in the day when everybody's like, I don't need a cell phone. Now you have to have one. Neuralink will be like that someday.
I'll be honest.
Now it's going to be like Total
really
Recall,
just
where
because
it's in your hand.
I'm younger, but I don't remember anyone ever saying, "Why would I want a cell phone?"
It was the thing.
I don't remember that at all.
Caleb's going to get certified and start hacking into Neuralink to females and convince them he's Arthur Dane from Game of Thrones.
So random.
Where's your sword of the morning?
Where do you gotta go, Jim? Another stream.
DGD podcast is live.
I don't know what the hell that is.
It's a Georgia thing.
Hang on.
Oh,
it's a Georgia football thing.
Oh, guess what I'm doing tomorrow, Jim?
It's a good friend. You're going to the Ole Miss game?
I sure am.
By your girlfriend?
I was gonna go hunting with my dad, but that fell through.
Georgia, Ole Miss.
I should have gone. It's gonna be raining potentially though, so I'm kind of glad that I'm not going.
It's been raining. I was in Nashville back and forth. I was there on election day, and then came home Wednesday, and then went back Thursday, and it was raining and overcast. And I think I logged total driving this week 900 miles.
So, real quick, you asked. Then we're gonna close on this. You asked, did we think he was gonna win?
Yeah.
So I was in Discord with Rob and someone else for a while on Monday night, and going over the numbers and everything.
You disappeared on us.
Monday night.
Like a
Monday night, I will repeat. And I was
to go to another stream's kind of an asshole move, but whatever.
I was going over the numbers, and I was like, "Look,
stream we couldn't even find, by the way.
These are where they're at. This is what's likely going to happen, and so this is what I think is going to happen." And the only state I was wrong on was Virginia
and New Hampshire.
Well, yeah, but 3 votes, okay.
He could have won New Hampshire.
Yeah, it was much closer than I think anyone really expected. But it was okay. This is kind of dumb, but the time that I knew he was going to win was actually when I woke up Tuesday morning and it was raining, because it was raining when I went to vote in 2016 as well. And I was like, okay, this is just a repeat.
Rain's good luck.
This is it. Yeah. Well, certain people don't vote in the rain.
Well,
Democrats are too lazy to sit there and wait in the rain.
Also, can we please just make Election Day a national holiday? Like,
it should be.
Sake, bro, if I didn't vote early, I would have been fucked.
Yeah.
I would have been very fucked, because I got home on Election Day. I got home. No, I didn't. That's a lie. The day before, I got home at 7:00. But the day of my work is very sporadic, so I don't ever know what time I'll be home. But no, that's the way it is for a lot of people. A lot of people have to work out of town and shit like that too. Like, no.
So
Election Day should be a nationally recognized holiday. And today on Joe Rogan with Theo Vaughn, they brought that up as well. Why don't we just scrap Columbus Day? If we do Indigenous Month, give them a whole month instead of a day, and we go ahead and replace that nationally recognized holiday, Columbus Day, and we
honestly, I'm fine with having both of them.
Sure. But if we had to pick and choose, let's give it to Election Day.
that your MAGA hat?
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw the Notre Dame.
It's an Alabama hat.
Yeah, I saw the Notre Dame fan wearing an Alabama hat. Yeah.
Well, to say MAGA, you got to have,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It reminds me of another big YouTuber.
You also need a fucking G.
Well, listen, I'm an Irish Catholic kid who grew up Notre Dame, but I'm from the South, and if there's a Southern team I pull for in football, it's Alabama. But I don't dislike some of the other Southern SEC football teams, with the exception of Tennessee and Mississippi State.
Yeah, but Matt's cool.
In Georgia.
Speaking of Notre Dame, didn't they just rung the bells for the first time since the fire today?
Did they?
Yeah.
I saw that what that video was. I saw bells being rung, but I didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah,
dude, that's incredible. So we're gonna end on this because I think it's such a cool thing. So when the fire actually happened, Ubisoft donated €1 million to the restoration, and they didn't know how they were going to be able to restore it because the plans were lost. And Ubisoft had actually gone in and done 3D blueprints of Notre Dame. They had the exact blueprints of every single square inch of that church so that they could put it in their Assassin's Creed game that was in France. So they donated €1 million and then gave them the blueprints for free, which is the last cool thing that Ubisoft ever did.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then they
fucked up.
Star Wars Outlaws,
everything. Guys, thank you so much, Jim, Sundowners Club, Big Rob. Thank you all so much. To risk it, I know Jim did one. Clyde, Mash, Crimson, thank you so much. I will be back here tomorrow, most likely. I doubt I'll do one tonight, but tomorrow playing some Dark Souls 2.
Well, you'll also be on with me tomorrow night.
Yeah, and so
on the 11 Deep Dogcast.
So if Jim wants to post the link, y'all go like and subscribe over there. You'll see we talk a lot of football over there. Rob, I don't know if you want to post the link to your store, but if anyone's looking for medical supplies or anything like that, Rob's got a pretty cool store. A lot of pretty good American-made products for not too expensive, pretty reasonable prices in my opinion. And then of course y'all know this guy down here, Sundowners Club. He's got 35,000 subs and a bunch of other shit. And Yellowstone comes back Sunday.
Cool.
I just started season 5.
Hell yeah. Well, on that note, I will be over at DGD Podcast. I'm going to go jump on with him.
Wait, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut for 1 second. Wait, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You're just coming off stupid.
Good night, fellas.
I love the neural link.
Good night, guys.